the August 24th, 2021 open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. Call to order at 6:15. I'd like to read a quick message. This meeting hearing of the Ayer Planning Board will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. Zoom information for this meeting can be obtained by contacting Heather Hampson at hampson@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 144. This meeting will be recorded and air on Channel 8 and ayerpublicaccess.org the following day. First order of general business to approve the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Second. Thank you, Ms. Murray. Any comments on the agenda? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Next is covenants and bond releases, of which we have none this evening, which brings us to our first agenda item, a discussion. Mr. Ted Maxon, rezoning parcel on Harvard Road. Is somebody here for Mr. Maxon?
Mr. Maxon himself is there, and
Fantastic.
Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I would like to just give a quick preamble before Mr. Maxon talks.
No, thank you. Mr. Maxon, sorry I didn't recognize you, but thank you for being here. I just wanted to make sure there was somebody in the room, Mark.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
That's fine. Okay, I have a section of Mr. Mapper here. This is the Harvard Ayer Town line that you're all familiar with, south of the Rotary. This right here is the old site before Alltown was built. And shortly after I started here in 2017, Mr. Maxon approached me, and that's before I knew anything about the zoning districts in the town and what may have made sense and what didn't. But he shared with me the fact that this little parcel right here that you see here, which is at 29 Harvard Road, that little parcel, once the data comes in here, oh, there it is. That is actually zoned for general residential, which FGR, which is a little bit odd because the lot that completely surrounds it, the lot that had the gas station on it, this is zoned general business. So Mr. Maxon approached me just recently asking what he would need to do to rezone that small parcel to be consistent not only with the surrounding parcel that he owns, but with the whole neighborhood there that is, commercializing. I checked with town council to see what process would need to be followed on this. And she directed me to the master plan that was adopted in 2017, very shortly after I started. So, what town council told me that the planning board can only sponsor zoning changes themselves. The planning board sponsors zoning change at a town meeting if the master plan supports it through the future land use map. Unfortunately, the future land use map, and I can send copies of this around, shows this whole area is being general residential.
On that side of the street.
On this side of the street, yes. It shows this little piece right here, just that piece being commercial, but all the rest of it being residential. So
even the wraparound portion that's
yeah,
The coloring of the map doesn't match.
okay.
right. The
I'm
reality.
going to put it that way for now.
Yeah. So yes,
We don't know what's right or wrong.
the master plan itself even shows this as being residential and it's zoned commercial. So, in my opinion, it's not logical. This is something that I wish I had been on board for a few months earlier, then I may have caught this in time for the master plan to change that recommendation. So what town council told me is even though the planning board itself cannot initiate the zoning change, Mr. Maxon, as a property owner, can submit a citizen petition to the town clerk by October 1st if he wishes to make the October 29th or whatever it is special town meeting. And so I told him that, I thought this is a reasonable request and that, he should come and speak to the planning board, because no matter how a zoning bylaw change is initiated, whether it be from the planning board or a citizen petition or another board, the planning board needs to make a recommendation to town meeting, as we always do. So that's just a quick background of what I researched as far as his situation is concerned. So I'm sure he has a lot more to add to that. And I would also like to know, what he plans to do with this lot here. Because obviously if this gets zoned commercial, then he would be able to develop this whole site. Essentially, it would become one zoning district. So,
Mr. Maxon?
Can I approach?
Yes, please.
Hand these down. This is deed from Global, the old gas station site, and you can see that they have restricted any sort of residential use in the deed to me. No hospitals, no nursing homes, no childcare, no long day care, no residence, nothing to do with interaction with living on that site. So, you go through the second page, it shows a picture of what we're going to do with the present building. Now, the present building is probably a half a century old, maybe a century old. It used to be Ralph Thayer when I was 6 years old. And I'm 80 now. And he used to sell tractors here. So it's a tear down eventually. But if I were to tear it down and build new, I would rotate it 90 degrees. And if I rotate it 90 degrees with a new building, guess what? We got one commercial, one business lot, one residential lot. So how are you going to tax it? Especially if most of the building is in a residential lot. There's another hurdle that have to be overcome. I think the other pages, what's the next page? Shows the site it is down. It's pretty clean. You ask me what I'm going to do with the residential lot? Nothing for the time being. We're going to seed it in, and we're going to probably make it a lawn. And finally, the final page, I've already collected 12 signatures, and most of the residents that I've approached, long-time Ayer owners, go, why are you doing this? That's all zoned business and commercial. I said, no, it's not. I said, yeah, my Aunt Harriet was the one that created zoning, and I guess she dropped the ball on this one. So here we are in August of 2021, and it would make sense for the town of Ayer and for the citizens, general business, to put it into one zoning, general business. Then I can combine the two lots, and then I could do something better than continuing to use that ancient building. So that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you. Members of the board, have any questions for Mr. Maxon? Observations?
So, Mr. Maxon, I looked up the deed on the bigger lot that's marked for general business now. It's indicated that it's owned by that group, the Global Montello Group. You own that lot.
I now own it.
You
That's
own it
the
recently?
deed. That's the deed you have.
Okay.
The deed from Global Montello to me.
Okay, so you recently just purchased that lot from them.
The property changed hands in December of 2020.
Okay, thank you.
They first had to clean the site up.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Nobody would touch that site unless they took out all the gas tanks. And I employed someone, the Department of Environmental Protection, to stay there for 5 days.
Right,
Take soil samples, it's clean.
okay, good. All right, so I just wanted to make sure. So, well, basically what we're talking about is putting the two lots together
Yes.
in the general business district
Yes,
and end up with a clean
in a nutshell.
one lot in the general business.
In a nutshell.
I guess my other question is that, I'd like to know how the town council interprets what we can and cannot do on that particular situation. Because to me, it makes perfect sense that we could sponsor something like this, if we just think it's a good move. I don't know.
Yeah, I did discuss this with another planner who thought that she was being a strict interpretationist, but he, you know, that is sort of a policy in general, that zoning changes should be consistent with the master plan. So, I mean, I could check again and try to push back a little bit on that, but, you know, I didn't initially, since there was an alternative way for him to seek remedy, which is the citizen petition. But I know it's unfortunate that the master plan doesn't reflect reality out there.
So, I'm going to ask two questions, excuse me.
Yes,
Citizens petition requires 100 signatures?
yes.
I'll sign it for you, Mr. Maxon.
In
In a moment.
I gave you my,
In a moment.
I gave you my original copy of the signatures, it's somewhere there.
Yeah, you may have, yeah.
I'd like to have it back.
Yeah, I'd like to give it back to you if we can.
I got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have it here or not, it may have been in one of our piles. But Mark, while we're looking for, could you
That's a problem.
pass that down, Mr. Maxon? That may or may not be it.
Oh, you know what, I think this one's it, because those are,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
it.
That's it.
That's it.
But
That's the original.
I was
Either way of
yeah,
remedy-
They're grouped, so.
Okay, thank you for your.
Either way of remedy, but Mr. Maxon, I will be happy to sign that petition as an individual, not as the chairman of the board, but as an individual. May I ask you another question, Mark?
Yes.
The cemetery lots, how are they zoned?
Residential.
No, let's see.
It doesn't matter, they can go in any
Yeah, it
zone.
doesn't matter. yeah.
I understand they can go into the zone, yes,
So,
I just,
general residence.
I just wanted to.
Cemetery is own general
Yeah,
residence.
I
Yeah.
typically, cemeteries kind of get their,
Long-term residents.
they're just very quiet residential.
They
areas.
are.
Regarding the cemetery, I'm also a
trustee.
member of the cemetery
Yes.
commission,
Yeah.
because my father, my family's buried there.
Mhm.
But all Jenny Matthews wanted was us to tear down the old fence and put a brand new one up, and if you go by there today, you'll see there's a brand new fence.
Fantastic. Okay. So I guess the question we have, Mr. Diskin put it on the table, is do we sponsor this, or do we ask Mr. Maxon to go by citizens petition?
Well, I guess we could run it around the table.
Yeah, I just want to go back to that.
Yeah.
And I would find myself saying, speaking on behalf of this, as an individual, that this zoning be recognized for what it is. Somewhere along the way may have been a mistake, and it can be rectified at town meeting.
On that theme, and this is, you know, this is relevant more broadly, is how, I think there's an open question on how legally binding. I understand, and I appreciate that this is directionally where the town wants to go, and I so far reading through it, the master plan, I'm very sympathetic. However, I think it was an open question whether it's legally binding. So that may go to your point, Mark, that it's a strict
Right.
interpretation
A recommendation.
or an aggressive statement that I'm not sure if we.
The master plan, the way I understand it, Mr. Chairman, is a guideline
Yeah.
and a set of goals,
Right.
achievements that
Yes.
you're
Yes.
seeking to achieve.
Right.
But the thing that I found interesting when I looked it up for Mr. Chairman was the fact that you found the same thing I did, that the lot next to it was already being assessed as business,
Yeah.
yet the map showed it as residential.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I was wondering if you had inquired with the assessor as to how he got that designation on the business lot and not his lot, the second lot.
I asked for a refund.
Because if he looks at the
Anybody
zoning,
would, Mr. Maxon, anybody would.
if you looked at the zoning map, you would have had both those lots as
So,
residential.
it's, Mr. Krantz, yes.
I signed the petition because I think it's reasonable. But I think in the circumstances, and given, I think it's reasonable, your request is reasonable. But I think in the circumstances, we've got a month, a little more month and change. The probable path of least resistance and greatest speed is actually getting the damn signatures. at this point, rather than trying to go back with council and argue fine points about master plan this and who
Yeah.
does that.
Public hearings.
I think that really, you're looking at, that getting the signatures is probably your fastest path to action at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in no rush. I could wait till the April town meeting. I have enough for the April town meeting already before I even came here.
Yeah, interestingly
But I'm
enough,
not anxious to have Tom reassess me and send me a bigger bill.
interestingly enough, the spring town meeting, annual town meeting only requires 10 signatures for citizen petition, whereas a fall special is 100.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a moment and try and wrap this up if we
Yeah.
can.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maxon, for coming to us. You'll have it, I'll give it back to you. Thank you very much for, I have to speak to the microphone so people can hear me. Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. I will apologize for past and present planning boards. We'll never know how this got colored yellow, not blue on the map. We'll,
Aunt Harriet,
or whatever, not
paying attention.
you may or may not want to blame it on it. I have a funny parallel story about the town I grew up in, and a relative of mine who worked on zoning there. We'll continue to ask town council, but if that becomes a dead end, going through citizens petition, I think would be the right way to go. And as I said before, I'll speak to it if you would like at town meeting, if that's helpful. And I have a feeling many of the board members will speak to it also. All set? Thank you, Mr. Maxon.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
It's nice to meet you, sir.
No blame on Harriet, Amy.
Okay, next on our agenda this evening is a site plan review for 60 Central Ave, Metro West Company, Foresight Engineering. We've already opened this one, correct?
Yeah.
Let's
Correct.
continue to this evening.
Yep.
Do we need a motion at this point?
May I read this into the record?
Please do.
Do we-
I'm sorry, Mr.
Do we need a motion to continue the meeting?
No, it's a site plan, it's no public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to read into the record an email or a letter that came from Mr. Norman Buck of 58 Central Avenue, and it reads thusly: to the planning board regarding 60 Central Avenue. As a homeowner directly abutting the 60 Central Avenue construction site, I have questions and concerns. The previous house and foundation have been removed. Currently, the site has drop-offs where the walls were. The property line between 58 and 60 has been a shortcut down the hill, less in recent years. Should there be fencing around the site? We have experienced dust issues from the site multiple times already. Picture below is dust blowing from 60 Central Avenue across our driveways on August 10th at 5:45 p.m. All our vehicles and my desk have been coated with gritty dust. What will be done to prevent a repeat of this? The site plan is presented as a retaining wall and a drop-off along the border with 58 Central Avenue. This will be separated by a small grass strip from our driveway area that is actively used for backing and turning of vehicles. In addition to us daily, multiple delivery vehicles, Amazon, USPS, FedEx, etc., do use the area to turn around in this area every week. During the July 27th meeting, the board discussed if a fence or other means was needed to keep cars backing out of the 60 Central garages and going over front edge of parking area. Will anything similar be required to prevent vehicles accidentally backing over the drop created by the retaining wall? Given the history of the 48 Central Avenue project, myself and the others want to know what monitoring, notice, and vibration damage prevention will be provided for other properties in the area. I run a business and work primarily in my home office. The hammering at 48 Central transmitted through the rock and was noticeable while sitting at my desk. The blasting did knock a mug off a desk in our house. All the buildings in this area are connected by a bedrock they sit on. This 60 Central Avenue project is much closer to us. My desk is less than 40 feet from the property line. Hammering on the bedrock will shake my office and potentially be disruptive to my business. Neshoba Valley Express has previously expressed concerns of vibrations causing damage to their structure. Thank you, Norman Buck, 58 Central Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Krantz. I'm sorry.
Mr. Hayes. from-
Mr. Hayes is here. Thank you very much, Mr. Hayes. No, we do asking about Mr. Buck's letter and what remedies may exist. Do you have some more information for us, Mr. Hayes?
I do.
Can we just say thank you for
Yes.
the response, or to be
Oh, I'm sorry,
communicated to?
yes.
Just a general thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate public response.
So we're here tonight to give the board an update on progress. The house did come down at 60 Central Ave, and we've been out to do preventive test holes in the area of the proposed foundation. We've excavated on the back line of the foundation, in the middle, and the front. And we've revised the site plan based on that information. We did get about 7 to 8 feet the rear of the building, where the deepest cut is. And then it tapers to about 5 feet at the front property to refusal. And with that information, we determined the general bedrock profile elevation, and we've revised the plan such that the foundation does not require any removal of bedrock for about 3/4 of the foundation. We've also stepped the foundation up in the back to try to top the bedrock. In this area at the very back of the building, I don't think we'll need to remove ledge. If we do, it'd be less than a foot to get to the bottom of footing elevation. By raising the floor and then stepping the foundation up, we're able to kind of get the building to follow the contour of the bedrock. Can't guarantee we won't need to hammer any rock at all, but minimal. Certainly the front half of the building is well above the bedrock profile, and the rear is kind of creeping into it. So this area, it's a possibility we could hit rock, but based on the elevation that we have, we're about right at bottom of footing with the bedrock right now. So not all bedrock to be removed. And with raising the floor of the building, we're able to rework the grading in the front. But we had a 50-foot retaining wall on this side, on this property line, the east property line. It's completely eliminated. We're able to grade out the site without any retaining wall on this side. And on this side, this was it was 95 feet of wall at 4 to 5 feet, and we've got it down to 25 feet at 4 feet or less. So we really tapered down the amount of cut that's going to happen out here, reduced the cut overall from the site so it's not greater than 4 feet anywhere, and eliminated the walls and able to grade the site out without retaining walls. So it's a big improvement over where we were last time with a 100-foot long retaining wall and a 50-foot long wall. We've got a 125-foot wall that's 4 foot maximum in height just in this area. It is adjacent to the driveway number 58, but this here is the really useful wall. So it's a great adjustment. 4 feet maximum height, about 2 feet off the property line. We added some more landscaping where the wall was eliminated. We kind of extended the screening landscaping up the property line a little further here and here. It was previously rat wall. Now we've just added some plantings along the wall lines in those areas, some additional stuff. And we proposed some additional planting of trees on the rear slope of the property and in the front. Added the mailbox kiosk behind. So this is the entrance, this is the existing sidewalk that's being replaced. The mailbox kiosk will be right behind the sidewalk, the back of the curb. And that's there. That's subject to review and approval of the postmaster, but we're confident that's a good spot for it.
Hey, Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Can I ask you to please remember to speak up?
Sure.
Thank you.
Other than that, we looked at the outdoor lighting regulations in the zoning bylaw under site plan. They are full cutoff fixtures are required. So the specification on the plans been changed to state that all exterior lighting will be full cutoff per zoning bylaw. Other than that, I think that's about where we are. So we do have the building down. I understand. I just heard the email you read from the neighbors. The first I've heard that, about keeping the dust down out there. noise that's of concern. But the building's down and removed, and we've basically been whole where it was. The site hasn't been otherwise disturbed, the slope going up. This is, the rear half of the site is wooded and stable, and this as it was. It's really just the front, about a quarter acre, 10,000 square feet, with the existing building driveway work are a little bit disturbed as a result of removal of the house.
Thank you. Did you attend the seminar?
Anything else with it?
Yes, did you also attend the seminar?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. A question from the board member. Is anybody else with you here this evening? For this project?
Mr. Flores from Metro West is the owner.
Evening, Mr. Flores. Thank you for joining us. Okay. I was unable to attend the site walk. Can I get a little general information from that?
Well, the long and the short of it was that the concerns that we had at the last planning board meeting, we voiced again on the site. Jonathan was there and Julie was there with me. And it was really about doing more exploratory excavation on the site to determine what, a little review that we've got this evening. And I guess the long and the short of it was that we did look at how close the walls were to the neighbor to the west, and saw that and the step in the site. And it was just difficult to get a real good handle on what the expectation was going to be until the house was removed, as the owner informed us. So at this point in time, I don't know if we need to do another site walk or we just go by it on our own or whatever the case might be, but it certainly is a lot easier to figure out what's going on out there now that the site is, that the residence has been removed. And I think we talked about potentially, or I did, providing additional sill fence at the entrance that's existing out there now in the event that we had a washout on the street. But I went by it today and it did rain a lot and it didn't seem to be any evidence of anything washing out. So I think it would still be a good practical matter to get more protection against the neighbor's side of the, Mr. Buck's side, I believe it is, with a sill fence and across the front as a temporary protection during construction. Other than that, we were kind of waiting for the results of the excavation.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin. I'm sorry I couldn't attend. Yes, Mr. Prince.
So with what you've learned through the excavation, you've explained that the grading is going to change and the nature of the foundation. Can you tell us about the impact on your original stormwater management plan and what's going to happen here?
The stormwater area, we reconfigured it slightly, just we had to get the water and the sewer service clear of those, and reconfigure the utility locations and resize the bed. The bedrock profile is very close to the bottom of the stormwater facility, so this will be a detention type pond creating storage below the parking lot. I don't think we'll be able to get infiltration there because we're not going to need a 2-foot of permeable material. So this will be like a detention pond but subsurface to collect the roof runoff and the runoff from around the sides of the building.
So explain to me how that would function as detention. So it's underwater detention, then where does the water go?
So it's you size this so that it detains a certain volume, and then you control the release by the outlet of there'll be a manhole at the outlet of the bed that will connect to a street drain, and that will control the rate of release from the site. So it's a function of sizing that properly.
Okay.
Holds enough so that the smaller orifice that's going to be discharged into the street drain will mimic the pre-development drainage characteristics.
Got it. And did you have to alter the slope of approaching the drive into the parking spaces? Remember you talked about.
Yeah, I did. So
it's going to be a little steeper, right?
When I was playing around with the grading, I pulled the building forward about 4 feet, just pulled this off this slope where it really comes up in the back, and it keeps the proposed building footprint in the footprint of the building that was already there, which kind of already was a pad site. This is slightly bigger, but just keeps it right in that general area. And then I regraded from the street up and we end up with the worst approach being the first garage. It hits about 8% at the back of the sidewalk coming here, and then it levels off to about 5 to 6% in front of the garage door. So it's a little bit of a hump here. We don't exceed 10% in grade, so perfectly fine for an approach to a dwelling.
And you're lucky that it's southern facing, right? Snow and ice, then melt, et cetera.
Yeah, so the park, the root's all collected and detained, and then we've got catch basins here and here that, take the parking lot area. So it's a small portion of the driveway that will actually run off.
Yeah.
It's there now.
Sorry.
Just one more. So, in concerns about, there were two concerns expressed in the letter. There was blasting and dust. So blasting, it sounds like your response is, well, it looks like you're going to do a minimal amount of ledge removal. So there's that. Do you anticipate that anything within the construction will create the kind of dust that we saw with the demolition?
Dust is problematic in the summer. It depends on how dry it is. It's been very wet this summer. The entirety of the work area barely exceeds 10,000 square feet. It's a pretty small area. To manage dust in the interim until that area is constructed. And I think once the foundation's in, there isn't really that much disturbed land surrounding the building itself. But you use water, you can spray it to keep it down. It really depends on wind conditions and moisture on how much dust you're going to get.
Excuse me, during the demolition, was water used to remediate dust?
I don't believe it was. I wasn't present for that, but
I wasn't there either. I went by in the afternoon. So,
Well, I would encourage, doing what you can, because we saw the photograph in the deck, and it's noticeable.
probably because maybe they tried to clean with the blower, maybe create some dust back then. That's why there was dust. I'm assuming that's the only thing maybe they're trying to, clean with the blower that can create dust sometimes.
And if I may, as an aside in general, if there's an issue going on a construction site, please contact the building department as quickly as possible. You'll get much quicker response from the enforcement officer than you will from twice a month. That's quite all right. Just in general, we have a person there, and I know it did happen.
That was literally right before the last meeting.
I came by and saw the excavator. I've been out of town the last few weeks, and I saw the excavator up there, and then I heard that it was being done. But a general practice, and unfortunately, this has already happened.
Yeah.
But there usually are mitigation methods used, where you've got a mister or something like that working when an excavator is working. And I got to imagine a building of that age had a fair amount of plaster and other material in it that is just going to vaporize.
It seemed to be when they were doing dirt work.
Yeah.
It was spurts of big chunks of dust. I don't know if they were cleaning out equipment or what, but we definitely got everything. Our cars all coated.
Well, we will we'll also pass word through internally.
Yeah.
That we'll keep an eye on it and follow it. Okay. Gotta keep your neighbors happy, please. Mr. Diskin, you have a question?
Yeah, my concern, Mr. Hayes, is you showed you're showing two catch basins there. Let's say they're on the site, but I'm viewing that grade as discharging a lot of water to the street. So shouldn't we have a catch basin at the radius is near the street, which we would typically do if it was a street itself? I know it's just a site. In order to pick up any other runoff that either comes around the side or goes beyond those catch basins that you're showing. So it wouldn't be brought back into the detention or retention system, but it would be picking up runoff before it hits the road. So
you've got the impervious cover, the existing building that was raised, the parking lot that's there now. I mean, the amount of impervious that's unmitigated past those catch bases is much less than what is currently unmitigated in the street.
Do you recall the other project on Central Ave?
It's very
Was
small.
it drain
It's
installed?
similar, no. It's just
No.
like this.
It was similar to that, where there was no
The catch
drain
basin's
installed.
high on the right-hand side,
Yeah.
so as you come in.
And that actually, if I remember, that discharges directly into the retention pond that was constructed at the bottom of the property.
Yeah, it's
And
the same
it's
kind of
held there.
problem, that just,
I wonder if that's-
anyway, I guess I'd
has this
defer to
been-
DPW.
Yeah, has this been the DPW yet?
They've looked it over, yeah, preliminarily, but it hasn't been formally submitted to them.
Got it.
We don't
Okay.
have a copy of that.
So-
Sorry?
So we don't have a copy of that, which I would need before,
Yeah,
hopefully
okay.
you leave this evening.
Yeah, because it's.
You're just giving us a summary tonight.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a
Thank you.
progress.
You gotta submit drawings again.
Yeah, but I need those because they're talked about during the meeting, I don't have.
Mhm.
Oh, good. So that would be my concern, is it's possible to move those catch basins that you showed further down the site to catch whatever you could, its addition beyond the catch basin,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
still pitch it back to the detention. That's my goal. That's would be my challenge to you.
no, you couldn't do that, but you could conceivably put a catch basin near the end rounding and tie it into
Or it leaves the
the
site.
manhole or
Yeah.
the drain itself.
Okay, I
But
guess-
but you wouldn't be able to get it into the bed.
No, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about
No, these.
the ones that you have.
Yeah,
Make every effort, I guess, to put those as far down the site as you can. That's all I'm saying.
I've got them as low as they can go.
Okay, good. That's all you have to, okay, that's fine.
I mean, this drops about 4 feet in elevation from here
Yeah.
to
Okay.
the sidewalk and the street, so. It would be out of the catch basin, it would have to be directly connected to the street.
I guess
drain line.
I'll leave it up to DPW.
Yeah, I think that the DPW also, but the solution that was discovered down the street was building a retention basin into the area along the sidewalk, along Central Avenue. If you go take a look at it, there was a depression that's full of rip.
Well, we took a look at it.
I like this.
Not what we wanted to do.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, that was the solution at the other property.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you got a sidewalk here, and then you got a very steep slope that's going up,
Mhm.
you know, about 4 to 6 feet in elevation where it plateaus the existing parking lot. I mean,
Mhm.
to put a basin there, you have to remove the hill and lower the grade to below the sidewalk elevation. The sidewalk's the lowest point on the site, not really conducive
Hmm?
to that.
Well, we'll see what, also what DPW comes up with, yeah. Thanks. Is that going to be a cul-de-sac system?
It is, I believe, yeah.
Okay, and you'll do will this ultimately be a condominium association or homeowners association involved?
It'd be a condominium.
There will be clear maintenance and operations guys for cul-de-sac systems. Access will be provided so they can get in and clean and stuff like that.
That would be,
Please, please, as you develop the process, give them access so they can fix it. There's too many in the world that are buried now because people didn't know they were there.
These all have manholes to grade.
Yeah. That doesn't mean they won't bury them with something, sir.
Believe me, I know. But a manhole here, catch basin, catch basin, catch basin, catch basin, so.
Okay.
I've given a lot of consideration to the drainage because we've got a hill running back toward the rear of a building. You know, I really want to make sure we've got it diverted around the building and we control the release of the street drain, I guess.
Okay. Anything else for the
Yeah.
board? Anybody? Yes, excuse me. One moment, please. Anything else from Mr. King?
Just one,
Sorry, he put his hand up and you couldn't see it. He was in front of it. Thank you, Mr. King.
I'll make it quick. The letter also had a point about the retaining wall. Mr. Hayes, you did mention it's going to be shorter, this one here on the west side of the property. And I think also you can see that there's not going to be vehicular traffic there. It's 16 feet away from the driveway. So
The abutting driveway of 58 is pretty close to the property line.
that would,
That's
yeah.
his concern, yeah.
Well, there was also a concern of anything coming down, I think, onto his driveway.
No chance of that. I mean, we're
I think-
basically burying, cutting the site into the
Right,
hill.
that's, I think that's worth noting, is that that's a grassy area. The only thing that would come over there is somebody doing the lawn work.
Yeah, we've got, 15-foot shoulders to the property line. There's grass here, it's about 18 feet from the back of the sidewalk to the parking lot here. So, I mean, there's swing space there.
So my last question is the fencing, that you're showing some fencing there, is that permanent or is that just for construction?
This is erosion control fencing
Okay,
here,
just for
here.
construction.
So, I mean, this is the highest point of the site. It's really just a construction boundary so that clearing limits are observed. Across the front edge, we're gonna run across the front, all the crushed stone, construction entrance, where the existing driveway is, and an erosion control line that kind of follows that. If you've been to the site, you see, the parking lot that's here now, there's a pretty good drop on a shoulder here to the back of the sidewalk, and we're trying to get a barrier and catch anything. So you do get a substantial rain in there that will allow silt over the sidewalk and the street.
Thank you, yes.
Yes, I just have a question regarding.
Please, could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, Kathy Hepp. I'm the owner of Neshoba Valley Express.
Thank you.
I just have one concern about the amount of blasting, whether it's minimal or not. Is it still going to be required of the blasting company site inspections of the surrounding structures before any blasting occurs?
Thank you, and I'm going to repeat the question, so people from our at-home audience says, and if I get incorrect, will there be a requirement of the blasting company to perform site inspections previous to the blasting? Correct? I honestly don't know, because that's not something the planning board oversees. However, my experience in projects I've worked on recently is, yes, neighbors within a certain area of a blast are contacted and given the opportunity to allow their house to be inspected. Are they videotaped? In situations like the Big Dig, they actually put monitoring devices on walls because it was a long-term event. I don't know what will be appropriate in this case, but that is actually handled, I believe, by the fire chief. He is the granting authority here in town, so you might want to give a call to Chief Johnston
Thank you.
in his office.
Thank you.
And of course, we are also very concerned that neighbors are taken care of in that situation. Thanks. Yes?
You're talking water, but what about snow storage during the winter? You increase the driveway size, and so there's more snow, put in less space. And I know there was large piles there with the previous house.
Thank you. Mr. Buck, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it was Norman Buck, the neighbor. Just, I want people to know who's who.
Okay.
Global warming aside, we don't have a final plan that's been submitted to us, correct?
Correct.
And will you be identifying snow storage?
Yeah, so I need to speak to it briefly. We've got adjacent to the parking lot to the west, 15 feet shoulder level area here, about 18 feet here between the back of the sidewalk and the side of the parking lot. And it's about 10 feet here, but 15 feet here. I think there's plenty of room to store snow on the site.
I don't know if you saw that, Mr. Buck, but the current plan is to use the western and eastern sides of the parking area
Okay.
and the area down in front doesn't have a driveway.
Okay. So, yeah, it's just that from experience,
Yep.
he was clearing that whole space and had pretty good piles. And now I think you've got a little bit more driveway area and probably less space to put the snow. So it's, yeah.
And I would hope that the company doing the clearing would recognize that piling at the apron of the driveway creates a hazard for the residents,
Yeah.
and we'll try and do that as a last resort, especially since that we all get windrowed in what comes off the street.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you. Other questions? Mr. Diskin has a follow-up.
In doing some research on another topic today, I came up upon a regulation that we have for the distance between driveways. Are you aware of the distance that your driveway is supposed to be from an adjoining driveway?
I am not.
It's 30 feet. So I'm asking you, how many feet do you think your driveway is from Mr. Buck's driveway?
I read that zoning bylaw. I don't know
It's
how
in
many
our
times.
we have a
Is it in
section.
general bylaws?
It's in a section basically for construction standards that the DPW uses.
About,
It's like 18 or 20 feet.
yeah, it's about 20 feet. I mean, if you don't include the rounding, it's probably about 18 to 20 feet.
I checked with DPW to determine if they're going to allow that distance because it seems to be tighter than what's going to be allowed for driveways that are abutting.
Yeah, I'd rather not move it to be 30 feet, just for the approach to the building, but,
Okay. Just, I think you may be up against the question there that you may have to ask to be waived that distance. It's a regulation, it's not in a bylaw, basically it's a construction regulation. Or
is it in the DPW
It's in
standards?
subdivision regulations under a section for common driveways and driveways in general. But typically they're looking for 30 feet, so just check it out.
But it's in the subdivision regulation.
But that was based on, the subdivision regs was based on what DPW had in their driveway permit regs, is
Right,
that it?
yes.
Right, street cut,
So
street
the-
openings, that kind of stuff.
The
Thank
street
you.
opening, yeah.
Yeah, the DPW probably has street opening
Right.
guidelines.
So it might be within that set of guidelines.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
look at that.
That's what
I mean, we could conceivably move it over to meet that.
Yeah, right, well,
I don't know if it makes a better site, but
what I'm just recommending is that before you turn in this final drawing, do a final check with them to make sure you don't have to go back and revise it if you
Sure,
can,
yeah.
after it's already submitted. And then look at the width too, and try to narrow it as much as you can to minimize pavement, things like that. I know you have to maintain the radiuses, but maybe you can make it a little narrower. Just to get-
yeah, I mean, we have it at 18 feet.
That might be the
You know,
minimum.
it's probably about 28 feet at the edge of pavement with the roundings. You know, could you go to 16? I mean,
I think you might have it right there, I just was thinking.
Yeah, 18 sounds to me like one in, one out, that odd moment when you've got two going in or out,
Right.
that you're gonna get that. And
On a
just,
busy street like this, it's just, I
Yep.
think
Yeah.
it's safer to have it 18.
All I'm recommending is you double check with them before you submit the final plan and then.
Mr. Archambault.
And based on what he described of the stormwater system, that raised a few flags for me that, you know, maybe you should talk to DPW before you do the final set of plans about that.
Yeah,
Especially if the water's draining into our catch basin and going into our system,
Right.
you know.
Indeed.
But
and we determined that this is gonna need the overview of a stormwater
right,
permit,
stormwater
either a
permits.
minor or major, you decide that. Right, okay.
I think we've actually just slipped out of jurisdiction by reducing the site count below 4 feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have to look at that. you
Yeah.
know.
So I'm just gonna summarize your opening statements, which are basically, you slid the building forward and you raised it up to minimize the amount of rock work you might have to do. You're knocking on wood and crossing your fingers that that's gonna do.
Well, no.
I'm sorry, you can't see me smile, but yes. I realize I'm wearing a mask.
Well, based on the testing we did, the probing we did, you never really know what ledge is going to do. It undulates and, you know, it's not a uniform, piece, but I think that we will not need to remove rock to get the footings in here.
Okay.
If we do, it'll be managed by hammering
Mhm.
a very small area, possibly in the back here, but I don't expect that we'll need it.
Yep.
Um,
And I would ask that, if at all possible, let the neighbors know that this will be happening. Okay? It's good neighbors to let them know that tomorrow they're going to have an uncomfortable day. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
I did a project where we used a texting system. Next week, we expect to, on these days for these hours, be doing it.
Well, I've worked on a construction site with a hammer running all day, and it's
No,
not fun.
it's not, I've run the hammer, it's not pleasant,
Yeah.
so. Anything else?
Just wanted, process-wise, the next planning board meeting is on September 14th. Do you anticipate being through the plan revision process in time to get us the final plans by then, or do you think it'll be a little later?
I think we will, yes.
Oh, okay. So that means getting it to us a week in advance, and all, DPW especially, will be.
Right, yeah, I think I'm gonna have a meeting with Dan.
Great.
And
Okay.
go over that before I finalize, so.
Yep.
I'd like to get it wrapped up at the next hearing if we can.
Yes, Ms. Brown?
Can I just follow up to what you said, Mr. Diskin, but do we need another site visit now that the house is down, considering what we're talking about, or do we feel?
I'm going to ask permission just to walk the site myself. I think I have a pretty good idea what's going on, if that's okay with you. Thank you. Only because I'm out of town again.
Yeah.
the end of the
just
summer.
wanna make
I'll be
sure
back.
about it.
I promise, guys, I'll be back, but I'm out of town for a few,
You could
next
probably
week.
walk there from here.
I go by half a dozen times. I live that way. I go by half a dozen times a day, but thank you. Yep. Okay. Do we want a sidewalk?
I would go along if people are going, but if no one else feels we need it, I was there and saw it. It's always
Yeah,
helpful
I'm
to
good,
see it.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm good.
If we need one, we'll call you, but I have a feeling we're probably gonna be okay.
Okay, well, I mean, I think it's okay with Alex if you
Thank you.
wanted to leave
Yep.
your, yeah.
Thank you.
Should I just request a copy of that, either
Sure.
now or tomorrow?
Oh,
Would
it's
be
ready,
most
it's
helpful.
right there.
Thank you. Just because I need to put 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks for the work you've done, and please communicate with the neighbors. Find a way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, I'm sorry.
Oh, we don't have to motion it, I guess.
No, it's a site plan review. Yeah. But thank you again. Next on our agenda is a continued public hearing, the special permit 14 Washington Street and continued site plan review for 14 Washington Street. We have a request, and if I'm not mistaken, we need to open these to have the letter read, or do we not?
They're already open, but you need to
Oh.
open. Thank you.
Just for the file.
Appreciate it.
So,
So do we need to open, we just?
Do we need to open it to read the exception?
Well, technically, it's
letter?
already open, but since it hasn't been discussed for at least 2 months, it may be best to just make motions to reopen them. Just 'cause
motion to
It's been
continue.
a while.
Doing both at the same
Okay,
time.
yeah, I want to make a motion to continue the public hearing for the special permit at 14 Washington Street and continue the site plan review for 14 Washington Street.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. Moved
Seconded.
to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Now I'd like to make the motion to,
Please.
and I'm going to do those separately.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we continue the site plan hearing for the special permit 14 Washington Street to October 15th, 2021.
Did you want to read that letter into the?
Oh, you need to read the.
Would you
Read
please
that
read the
in
letter and make a
before your
motion?
motion?
So we have a
Now
letter.
everyone knows why we're doing
Okay,
it.
so we have a letter from GPR Engineering representing the applicant, and this is directed to Mark Archambault, our town planner, regarding the granting of extension for 14 Washington Street project. Dear Mark, as discussed in our meeting this morning and on behalf of our client, Cowfield Station LLC, we do hereby grant an extension to October 15th, 2021 for the time the planning board has to act and render a decision on the 14 Washington Street project. It is now before the planning board for site plan approval and a special permit. We appreciate the board's patience as we amend our filings and come before you with our final plans to save this historic and important structure. Sincerely, Calvin R. Goldsmith, VP. Dated August 20th.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we extend, that we continue the public hearing for special permit 14 Washington Street to October 15th, 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Diskin has a comment.
Okay, so I'm reading a letter, just that Mr. Krantz read. We have motion on the table to extend the hearing until October 15th. Yet this letter says we do hereby grant an extension for the time the planning board has to act and render a decision on the 14 Washington Street project. It is now before the planning board. I contend that letter is inaccurate. That's not what we're doing. We are not rendering a decision or acting on the request by October 15th. We're not even having a meeting until October 15th on this subject, if we do this.
I'm looking for a comma or a semicolon in that sentence. Act, semicolon, and render, which suggests more time. I don't disagree with you, Mr. Diskin.
So I have a problem with this letter, the way it's crafted, and
I'm trying to think it through.
For what it's worth, our meeting will be on the 12th.
Well, can't we can have a motion to extended discussion. We're not obligated to obey the letter of this letter.
Correct.
He's just submitted a letter saying he has extension. we acknowledge receipt of it, and we acknowledge that we're willing to extend the hearing, but we're not making any promises regarding the fulfillment of his desire in this letter or a promise of when we're going to act.
I agree with that. But I'm not sure how we get around it, but.
So I'm going to offer a quick solution. That we, the motion actually is that we grant an extension to the first meeting in October, because it's incorrect. As Mr. King just pointed out, this date is incorrect, we believe. Number one, and number two, we will contact GPR and ask them to submit a letter that reflects that.
But
And at this point, we, because there's nobody here from the proponent, I think we owe them, I think we should extend it until at least the next meeting, without prejudice.
Sounds reasonable.
People are shaking their heads correct.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. Would you
Okay.
like me to amend my motion, or?
Please do.
I'd like to amend my motion to read, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing for the special permit 14 Washington Street to our first planning board meeting in October, which would be October 12th, 2021.
so we're gonna do it to the next, like our next
I would- so-
September meeting.
So the deal is, let's,
Oh, to the next September
we're going
meeting?
to suspend it, taking action on this
Okay.
until our next meeting. We're going to give the proponent an opportunity to correct the letter
Oh, okay, so just go to the 14th then?
Correct.
till the next meeting.
All right, I'd like to further revise my motion to read, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing for the special permit 14 Washington Street to our next meeting, which is September 14th, 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? On the amended motion,
Just want to clarify that we're doing this out of a courtesy.
this is a courtesy. Yes, this
There's no
is.
intent to approve, deny, or otherwise in this motion.
This is true.
Correct.
Constructive approval cannot happen based on this motion, is what we're saying.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, having been discussed, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimous, thank you.
Quick question. So the corrections you would like, since I'll be calling Cal most likely tomorrow, the corrections you would like to the letter would be the date?
The date we need to correct, and the sentence that says act and render.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed.
Well,
That
it's more or
suggest-
less,
Oh,
they're giving us to the 15th to act on it. But when are they expecting us,
Yeah.
for them to come to us? Because if they're extending it to the 15th, they can't give us plans on the 12th and for the board to approve them that night.
So I'm gonna,
I don't think this, sorry.
Mark, I'm gonna trust that you'll be able
All
to
right.
explain to Mr. Goldsmith.
so the date should be later,
The date needs to be at a meeting.
Morning.
at a meeting.
The date
Yeah.
needs to be at a meeting, number one. Number
Yes.
two, the letter suggests that they're expecting to show up and get
Yeah.
a judgment, and they need to be a little more flexible than that.
Oh, right. they might-
Exactly.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Yes, yep.
And we need another motion.
Yes, for site plan.
Mhm.
I'd like to make a motion to continue the site plan review for 14 Washington Street to our next planning board meeting on September 14th, 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded for the discussion on this motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, thank you. Boy, the hand holding, we do some things.
Just one other comment.
Yes, Mr. Fisker, before, we gotta close here, go ahead.
So, could I get a feeling from the board that we coach Mr. Ashenbo to recommend to them that they be prepared for us to vote this proposal down if this continues to just keep getting extensions for, in small-time letters like this, for no explanation?
I have.
I'm prepared to vote no if this continues to go this way in the future, and we don't get this resolved soon.
It has been 2 Februarys almost.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, thank you. I do appreciate the validity of your comment. I do, thank you.
And start over.
Pandemic, health issues and everything, but let's get it done. Okay, fantastic. Next on our agenda, our town planner update and announcements.
Yep. Okay, excuse me, at the last meeting, under other business, I thought Member Diskin brought up a really good point, or a suggestion for me. which would be just as we did over at Alltown after they got construction going, to have a series of during construction site visits to the John Carroll Reserve on Littleton Road, to the Shaker Mill Pond subdivision, and also to Catania Oils. And I'd like to schedule those perhaps in early September, once we get through the heat and people are starting school. And so, you know, that's on my to-do list right now.
Thank you.
I'd like to add one thing to that. Pleasant Street extension. It's not finalized.
It's nominal, it's getting
That's
down
an
to the
important
end.
one.
Yeah.
That's one we really need to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And, yep, so I'll work on scheduling. I might contact people before the September 14th meeting to sort of work things out for one or two of these. The other question I had is, I know, you know, Mr. Maxon's issue brought this up. Do we want to bring any zoning amendments to the fall town meeting?
Well, I don't think you have time.
Well, there is time if they're done quickly. I mean, one thing that I had brought up in the past was amending the density bonuses. That's one possibility. One thing we learned also from going through when we were meeting on 14 Washington Street, we saw that the parking standards were a little bit convoluted. They were a little bit confusing. I was thinking of tightening those up. Though at this point, you know, so much time has elapsed since I took a deep dive into the parking section of the zoning bylaw, you know, it probably wouldn't be a comprehensive thing, so. I'm just bringing that up since there is still a little bit of time, not a lot, to have, you know, we could potentially have zoning public hearings on September 14th, which is probably unrealistic, or September 28th.
It'd have to be the 28th, you're not gonna make
It would have to be
14th.
the
Yeah.
28th.
So, and we're up against an October 24th town meeting?
Well, if
yes.
citizens petitions are due on the 1st,
Yeah.
if you had to continue that hearing, it wouldn't be heard until the 12th, which means town meeting would be what, maybe the 18th?
No, it's the 29th, I think. or-
29th is Friday, so.
Oh,
that'd be-
whatever the last Monday of
So the
October.
25th.
Yeah. it's the
25th,
25th,
gotcha.
sure.
So
It's gonna be too tight.
you'd be able to continue it to the 12th, and then that's it, you wouldn't have another meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be too tight. And quite honestly, we're going to have the proponents for Stratton Hill project back here in early September.
Yep.
I applaud your desire to take on the parking, the
Yep.
density. No, I don't know that there's problems with the density bonuses. But I don't think I think we should
Okay.
put it on the list, and maybe the day after town meeting, we can jump
Yep.
in.
No, that is fine by me. I just wanted, I thought it was my duty to bring it to your attention, since if we want to push something, you know, small in quickly, we have a little bit of time, but I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
the project before us, coming to us on the 14th,
Yep.
deserves and should take our attention for a period of time.
Yep.
Mr. Jim?
Yes.
Through you to Mark, do we normally look at doing zoning articles in the fall and not in the spring? That's what we've been doing in the past.
Generally, yes, but we have done some in the spring.
Because I was gonna say, by the winter, maybe we would have enough time to get ready for the spring, but if it's not the tradition, then, you know.
We could.
We keep hoping, but the way things are going.
We will have to see what the spring town meeting agenda is like.
If I may, it was explained to me when I first joined the board, half a decade ago, it seems now, that the tradition has always been
Okay.
zoning in the fall.
Well, it gives us plenty of time if we don't do this fall.
That's right.
Yep.
I mean, and we got a lot done. We've got the bylaws
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
OSRD, we've got the I can't think of the zoning downtown.
Illusionary.
All right, form-based code.
Form-based code, inclusionary, we've
Yep.
done accessory units, we've got a
Yep,
lot done, guys.
Stormwater, yep, stormwater.
Stormwater
regs.
and the regulations. Okay. Next on our, I'm sorry, you done?
That is it, yes.
Fantastic. Next on our list, under administrative announcements, is old and new business. Under old business, what do we got?
Okay, well, Beals Associates and Joe Levine approached us last week seeking to attend our meeting this evening regarding A&Rs as well as endorsement of the subdivision plan. And I was reluctant, you know, based on short notice, to have them come before us this evening, though the leadership here was agreed to hear what they had to say. There may be a few administrative issues regarding approving A&Rs on such short notice, but we can discuss that
They
when we
also
get to
have not been
that.
delivered to the town clerk to be
Yeah.
approved yet.
Yeah, we'll get through that in a moment, thank you.
Yep. However, there may be, there's a list of 4 items which I'll read. This is a letter from Attorney Para, and Attorney Para is also on the screen there in the Zoom. So I'll read, what I'll do is
Good evening, Attorney Parra.
I'll read the 4 main items that they were seeking for planning board discussion this evening. And then we can take these up in turn. Also, Brian Sutherland from their office sent me this slideshow, which perhaps Larry can do. So I was of the opinion that even if there are items that we are not quite ready to act on this evening, we could at least get the presentation so that if the 14th meeting on September 14th, if there are items that we have to take up then, we can do so more quickly.
Thank you.
So the 4 items that Mr. Attorney Para elucidated in his letter to me last week was common driveway approval for 128 Washington Street. The Board of Appeals yesterday granted a special permit for the project. We will submit to the planning board a plan with the common driveway details and expect to be able to do so in the next couple of days. That's item number 1. Item number 2, endorsement of the A&R plan for 128 Washington Street. The plan is ready and will be submitted with a Form A to the planning board and the town clerk. Number 3, endorsement of the A&R plan for lots A and B. The plan is ready and will be submitted with Form A to the planning board and the town clerk. And item number 4, endorsement of the Panther Place subdivision plan and approval of the covenant. We believe all of the we believe all of DPW comments will have been addressed. And I did reach out to the DPW today, and they say they have received all the new materials, but they have not yet had time to render, an opinion as to whether all their concerns have been met.
Thank you. So in reverse order, number 4, the DPW has not opined on it yet.
Not yet.
So we put that on the table for now.
Yep. No, I will read, as far as endorsement of the plan is concerned, I'll read quickly the 2 items that were in the decision.
Thank you.
Regarding that, prior to the planning board endorsement of the plan, number 1, all outstanding items listed in the letters of the DPW director to the planning board dated May 20th and July 9th, 2021, must be fully addressed prior to the planning board's endorsement of the subdivision plan. A letter from the DPW must be received by the planning board attesting to such fact. So that's what it says right there. Number 2, a revised plan sheet based on existing sheet C23 shall be submitted to the planning board showing the location of the existing trees that were agreed to be saved during construction, as discussed and agreed upon at the June 22nd and July 13th, 2021 meetings of the Air Planning Board. Plan details shall be revised as needed to show tree protection details. And I did look at the plan sheet, and it does appear that they did put those on there.
Thank you. Yes, please, Mr. Disco.
Could we concentrate on number 4 first?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And
correct, yeah.
we're gonna let the applicant give us a discussion about the letter to the DPW, is that what you'd like to do?
Or anything related to the endorsement of the plan. Of those 4 items, if we cannot take all of them up because of administrative issues, we should probably hear from them what their priorities are, if there's anything. And if they would like to go through the slideshow for us, I could...
Well, I'll stay on number 4, if that's
Thank
what
you.
you want.
Good evening, Mr. Beals.
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
Excuse my manners. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you. I'm
I'm
fine.
glad we can sneak you in. I'm not sure we'll be 100% successful, but let's...
Well, just
See what we
being
can do.
here, we consider it a success. So
Thank you.
We appreciate the consideration. So on the 4th item that we just talked about, I communicated with Mark Wetzel as late as about 4 o'clock today, and in fairness to their department, they have a lot of big projects going on. and we're not the highest priority, as you would expect. He thought he would have his review done next week. And the combination of big projects and vacation schedules has just slowed down the review of that. He did say he looked at the letter as any engineer would to see what our response is, and he didn't see any big remaining issues.
Good.
So we're assuming that he will review it. If he has an issue with something, we'll talk to him, we'll adjust it. But shortly, we expect to deliver a letter to you saying we've complied with all his comments.
Thank you.
And what we're hoping at that point is that maybe we don't need to come back to a meeting, that if we've satisfied that, then perhaps the board could endorse the plan. Not necessarily in a formal meeting.
Mr. Diskin?
Could you, do you have the letter with you, Mr. Beals? Do you have the letter with the responses with you? We saw it, I mean, we all got a copy of it, but I didn't know if you wanted to go through any part of that letter with us.
Well, we went through it last time, and as you may recall, Dan was here.
Yeah.
And there was no conflict over, I talked about what we were going to do, and unfortunately, I do not have the letter with me right now.
Do we have Dan's letter? I have it upstairs.
Okay, to the best of our knowledge,
yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
The letter's the same.
Yeah.
So the letter hasn't changed, we're
Yeah.
actually waiting for the DPW response.
Correct.
We all recognize that not enough time has elapsed, so, okay.
Well, if we were the only project they had, they'd be done by now.
We would have done it last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. So does that take care of number 4? In your eyes?
Also, Mr. Chairman, if I may, we also submitted a form of covenant for the subdivision. I followed as much as I could the Shaker Mill
Yes.
form, and we were hoping that the planning board could review that as the form, so that would also be ready when the DPW signs off on the plan.
Thank you very much, Attorney Parra. And so in our package this evening, we do have a document entitled Town of Ayer, Massachusetts Planning Board Open Space Residential Subdivision Covenant. And this does actually speak directly to Panther Place. Mark has assured me he's been through it. This is the document you've been working on with Attorney Parra?
Yes.
And you feel that it is ready to go?
I believe so, though we did receive an email just, 2 hours ago, where Mr. Parra said there was a very minor change, and I did not have time to review that yet, to the covenant.
Yeah, the minor change is that we expect to close on the property tomorrow, so that by the time the covenant and subdivision plan are recorded, the deed will be on record. So we had said in the title reference in paragraph 15, we had said the deed to be recorded herewith.
Yep.
And I changed that to be the deed is recorded in book blank, page blank.
Thank you.
And we can fill that in, probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the day after, with the actual recording information for the deed. That was the change that I made.
Thank you. So at that point, the covenant will actually reflect the true recorded property.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. You may call that minor, Attorney Parra, but I actually think that's a great change.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's number 4. Is that complete for number 4?
No, I didn't. Anyone else?
Anybody have other comments from the table?
We expect to sign this tonight? I mean, I'm a little confused at this point. No.
No.
With the endorsement.
I'm sorry. My expectation is that the document will be complete tomorrow. Once they've gone to record, they'll have the booking page for the transaction from the Registry of Deeds.
Right.
That will be put into the document. At that point, the document is complete and will not change again,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
And then we'll sign it with the endorsement? Is that the
And then
idea?
we'll sign it with the
Okay.
endorsement at that time.
All right.
Okay? Moving backwards to number 3, endorsement of A&R plots plan. My eyes can do it, but my mouth can't. Endorsement of A&R plan for lots A and B. The plan is ready and will be submitted with Form A to the planning board and the town clerk. My understanding is Mark and Heather.
I was on vacation, I know.
Yeah, hey, no.
That's part of
For whatever reason that had happened,
Yeah.
they are not yet with the town clerk? This is A and B, or is this 128?
I wasn't here when they were brought in.
I delivered them to Mark and I delivered them to the town clerk.
Okay.
Oh, they were to the town clerk, okay.
And I have a receipt in the truck.
I'm gonna,
No.
you don't have, good evening, Mr. Levine, nice to see you this
I see
evening.
everybody as well.
Go, please, run out to your truck, Manal.
I can do it tomorrow. I have the receipt in the truck.
Thank you very much. So those have gotten to the town clerk. Because
Okay.
one of the questions we had with vacations, again, being here in the office administratively, had we taken the steps that needed to be taken been taken? Thank you. You cleared up some of the mystery.
And I thought that was my fault because I didn't consult the whole list of all the steps and Heather wasn't here to
Yeah, that's
remind me.
okay. Yep.
And so.
So-
it was
We
like,
do it now, no big, you're all.
No biggie.
So, and I'm going to, so, the endorsement of the A&R plan for lots A and B. We're gonna talk about 3 lots on Washington Street now. 128, the lower 2 squares, and the upper 2, which are lots A and B, am I correct? Okay. And we can do the A&R endorsement, we can do the endorsement for A and B, I believe.
I have to run upstairs because I did not realize, again, I wasn't here and I didn't get all the information today, that there was 2 A&R lots,
Okay.
applications submitted, so I only brought 1. I was wondering why there was 2 piles there, but now I get,
You got them upstairs?
I do.
Let's
So
go get 'em.
We'll can get those, okay?
In the meantime, he can give us some.
Yeah, and while she's running upstairs,
Does he want to give us a presentation?
we're gonna ask you to do a quick presentation on
Okay.
the A&R.
Starting with A and B, if you don't mind, right?
All right,
Yeah, start with A and B.
Okay,
Sorry, guys, I like to kind of get things done in parallel so we can,
okay. I think that's the way we have it set up. I've got a hard copy of the PowerPoint, excuse me.
Just ready to get your feet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this first slide summarizes what we're here for tonight, and what we're talking about is A and B. We've actually changed the numbers on them, which you'll see a little bit later. But they're on the top of the plan. They came out of the original subdivision. During the subdivision process, the 2 lots that you see on the bottom of the drawing, that property came on the market. And I believe it's through a foreclosure. So I understand there's been some problems with that lot for a long time. And we have no connection with that. The land was purchased through a foreclosure and it's being subdivided. So I can go through these slides. Okay. So we put this together. I know I'm going a little bit out of, I didn't set it up exactly the way you requested.
Okay.
But what this is intended to show is the subdivision that we're very close to finishing and getting endorsed with the 2 cul-de-sacs and the open space surrounding it. And then the lots that you're referring to as A and B are at the top of the plan. And then the 2 duplex lots are shown at the bottom of the plan. So that more or less puts it in context. So you can see how this relates back. It was clear, I think, with the 2 A&R lots that we discussed all through the definitive process on the eastern side, but then we've integrated the 2 duplex lots on the western side. So existing condition, I'm going to sit down so I can run this mouse. We have the 2 A&R lots up here, and as you all recall, there's a wetland here. The topo slopes from south to north. Our roadway is about here coming onto the site. These are out parcels. Those are existing residences, not part of the subdivision. And then this is the lot that Joe acquired, and then it's combined with that strip of land. I think we referred to that as parcel X.
yes, if I may, that's 128 Washington Street. Okay, thanks.
That's correct.
Because we all know that informally in town as 120 Washington.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the existing conditions.
Mhm.
And then these are the A&R lots 101 and 102, formerly known as A and B. And we reviewed the subdivision control law, and our understanding is the board needs to make some findings or needs to consider these. And the first consideration is, do we have adequate frontage? And we're required to have 100 feet, and as you can see, 101 has 110 feet, and 102 has 132 feet of frontage. So we satisfy that requirement. And these terms come out of the subdivision control law. It's not our writing, it's the legislature's. We have to abut a qualified way. I think there's no doubt that Washington Street is a qualified way, and that's what provides us legal frontage. And then it says we have to have vital access exits on each lot. And I believe what that means is you've got to be able to get from the public roadway to the buildable portion of your lot from your frontage. And, you know, there's a lot of the case law on illusory frontage and people that try to finagle the rules and regulations, but these are very straightforward. So we believe that we comply with that. We created a little table at the bottom that just summarizes the frontage, required, provided, required lot area, provided lot area, so we exceed those. And I'm nervous when I see that green book come out.
Please don't be nervous. Please don't be nervous. This is a book.
That sits on my desk, and I look at that probably every other day.
Don't be nervous. Some of the case law I actually got a chance to watch.
Excuse me, so when you're saying about the strange, the oddest language here is the vital access exits, and that's what you were just explaining, and your interpretation is, of course, it's got to be a way in and out.
Right,
It's plain and
right,
simple.
right.
Okay.
You know, there are cases where somebody creates frontage, and then there's a big wetland area, and then they have an easement that goes around to it, and that's illusory frontage. So that's not permissible.
We're kind of experts on that.
I'm sure you are.
One person in particular was an expert.
The key point is vital access, not vital access via the frontage. Not the access, it doesn't state vital access via frontage.
Yeah, so I'm going to not go too far afield.
No,
But an
this needs to-
OSRD allows vital access, not necessarily through the frontage on the lot. If we leave that in open space, remember the long drive, I'm not sure if you were on the board when the gentleman came to speak about OSRDs from Western Massachusetts. A long driveway through the open space that gets to the lots provides the vital access needed in order to maintain the open space. But I don't want to go too far afield on that one, okay?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yes, it doesn't have to be through frontage. In this case, it happens to be through frontage.
I
Well, for an
think the
A&R,
proposal is it's not.
Yes,
frontage.
yes.
A&R has to be.
We're not going to get access for lot 102.
Why not?
Okay.
We're back.
Oh,
Not
we're on
there.
A&D.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Wrong cue, wrong cue.
I was all fired up. Yeah, we're there. I'm pushing Larry.
So that's, should I pause here?
Mr. King was a page ahead in the presentation.
No, but that pretty much, so those are the traditional A&R lots that are very simple. The next two A&R lots were subject to the ZBA review and approval. So I can answer any questions on this, and if none, I can move on to the next one.
I'm actually going to make a request, if you don't mind. I'd like to handle these as 101 Lot A, 102 Lot B now.
Sure.
And then let's make a decision on this, and then move on to the other two lots, the other two parcels. If the board, if the board agrees, okay?
Yes,
Just keep
that
it
sounds
simple, guys.
reasonable.
Okay. Do we have any questions about these lots at this point? We've just had an informal question session, but do we have any further questions on this?
Are you looking for a motion on these lots now? Would you like one?
I think we're getting to that point. If there's no questions or other further comments from the board,
Do we have how the lot and driveway are proposed? Do we have is that in the submittal? It's just a lot.
what, if, I think for an A and R, and I can be corrected, they have to meet the frontage requirement, and they have to meet the zoning lot standards for that area. As Mr. Beal has put it here, our required frontage is 100 feet, they're above that in both cases. The square footage is 12,000 square feet in that area, and in both cases they're above it. An A and R, or approval not required, is a statement by the planning board that allows a proponent to go to record with a piece of property. They met these guidelines. We do them in public meetings, we don't necessarily have to do that. They could walk into the office and we could all go in and take care of it. Okay? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the appropriate language
And that's my
is
understanding of the
accept.
logic.
No, endorse.
Well, there's one other, there's also a note on the plan that says, no new streets or ways are being created.
Yeah.
Which makes it approval not required. If we were creating a street or a way, it'd be definitive.
So just to clarify, the word endorse is the correct word. So
And you should reference the lots, but also the parcel, that, because that'll report.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we endorse the A&R lots 101 and 102 parcels on map 13, lot 12, as articulated by the applicant today in their submittal dated August 24th, 2021.
Did we get all the lot information? You said parcels lot,
101 and 102.
map 13, lot 12?
Yep,
Thank you,
I
okay.
did say that.
Good, thanks. I've heard moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this?
I just want to take one look at the original and double check the language. I think I did it at home, but I'd rather do it here.
Right out there, 150 feet again.
This is okay.
What's that? Good.
I had a question about the actual size of these drawings. Is the Mylar the same size as this?
Everything's the same size.
Okay, we can record this size?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if our rules and regs say anything about plans.
If they run across a problem, we'll resubmit. Okay? I'm not gonna second, believe me, I'm not second guessing the registry. And please, stay out of lane for me. That's all my
So
recommendation.
the surveyor actually certified, I hereby certify that this plan is prepared in conformance with the rules and regulations of the Registry of Deeds of the Commonwealth.
Okay. I think that has your question been satisfied. Thank you.
Yes.
Any further questions or comments? You have a motion before the board? All in favor? Aye. No, any opposed? No, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my table.
Right, well, we'll sign it in a minute. Let's do the second one too, and then we'll take a moment and we'll all sign everything.
I'm running out of space.
Okay? Yeah. Well, let's take our shot. Mr. Beals, would you like to talk about the
103 and 104?
one at 128 Washington Street, which is also 103 and 104 on your plans?
Yes, I would.
This might take a few minutes, so.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is on the west side of the site. So our project is behind it and to the east of it. So the land that Joe acquired is tracing it right now. So parcel X is right there. The balance of this lot was shown on the plan. There was an existing house here screened back, and there is a driveway that comes in here and goes down to the house. Now, this is being subdivided into 2 lots. So the first step is we're amalgamating lot X, parcel X into it, and then it's being subdivided into 2 lots, 103 and 104. So same thing. They comply with the required frontage is 100 feet. We exceeded 132 feet for each lot. Required lot area is 24,000, and we exceed the required lot area. So I think by the same standard, these are compliant approval of required lots.
It took me just 1 second, but that's because you're proposing duplexes. That's why you need the 24,000.
Correct.
Yep, yep. No, yep.
And I can move on to the next slide if it's helpful. These are a little unique because they are duplexes, as Mark just said, and they're subject to approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals. So we went to the Zoning Board of Appeals the other night, and we presented this plan that shows a duplex on the western lot and a duplex about where the existing house is. And we looked at this, and what really made sense to us is to use a common driveway, because the driveway exists, and it's probably not an area where you want to have too many additional curb cuts. So we can eliminate that, we can eliminate the pavement. And whoever developed this house and this driveway put everything in the right spot. Because what we discovered, if I could move on to the next drawing, is that this is the proposed grading plan. And if we leave that driveway where it is, we really don't need to do any grading. I mean, there will be minor tweaks to it, but we don't have to change a foot either way, hence there's no contour. We are grading the house on the left or on the western side. You can see that we're introducing some pavement here, so some runoff will go in this direction, and some runoff will go in this direction. There is a stone wall along this property line that provides a bit of a barrier, and you can see the existing contours that are screened back, but there's a shallow swale here which conducts runoff in a northerly direction. What I think is nice about that is, if you recall the subdivision behind it, that even before we knew that this land would be available, what we had designed was a swale along that property line to catch the runoff coming from these lots. Because they're higher, they were sheeting onto the Panther Place project. So we introduced that to catch the runoff coming onto the site and direct it around into the detention basins. So we haven't really had to change anything, and there's enough capacity in those basins to take the small incremental increase that this project results in. Now, when we met with the ZBA, they were comfortable and voted unanimously to approve the duplex lots, but they wanted to be clear that they were not approving a common driveway, because they believed it was beyond their jurisdiction, and that jurisdiction lies with the planning board. And so I think we're really here for two reasons. One is for the A&R, and also for a common driveway approval.
Thank you.
I think that's it.
Questions, comments?
Yes. I can appreciate how the common driveway fits nicely what's there, what's currently there, and that it means, you know, a minimum of regrading, etc. But now we got this burden on the homeowners to manage a common driveway. And it's four, it's not one, it's not even two, it's four. I mean, that's really important, and we're talking about 4 different homeowners have to negotiate the maintenance and snow clearing, etc. of this driveway. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I'll start, but Joe can finish. And my understanding is these are going to be condominium units, and so there'll be a condominium association that will be responsible.
For all 4?
So what'll happen, because they're individual lots,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
each duplex will be its own condominium, because they're separate lots, and then there'll be an overlaying HOA, homeowner association, which will be on top of it. So when everybody pays their fees and things like that, there will be, landscaping, snow removal, so all of that's taken care of and organized. So when you're coming into this, especially in this kind of a situation,
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much of a shock or a surprise that, not only is it going to be maintained, but there's, this isn't just handshake agreement stuff, coming in, this is what the condo fee is, this is what the condo fee's covering, this is what it's not covering. This is like any other kind of condo association.
So, excuse me, Joe, so, but they're gonna have a condo association fee, right? For each end of the lot, so there's 2 and 2.
Yeah.
But then, there's gonna be a homeowners association fee on top of that for the shared driveway across the 2 lots, right?
Correct.
And this is all legally copacetic, and there's no issues here with this? This is all works?
Absolutely, trust me, he would have let me do it.
Mr. Parrott?
Yeah.
I didn't know if planning board was going to take legal advice from you, but yeah, the answer is, much like, common driveway agreements or homeowners associations, not involving condominiums, the framework creates, the legal framework goes on record before any conveyance, so anybody who's buying one of the units is going to take subject to the condominium documents and the homeowners association documents, and they're going to be legally bound to it, so to them. So the maintenance obligations are going to appear both in the condominium documents and in the overlying, homeowners association documents. And we typically, make the language very strong in allowing, a condominium association or a unit owner to bring an action against, recalcitrant unit owners and subject them to paying for legal fees. The advantage of the condominium association is that when you make this a common obligation, the courts enforce those aspects of the condominium documents very, very strictly. So from the point of view of maintenance, I think there are plenty of safeguards here. And I think as Larry described a little bit, and can elaborate on the alternative to common driveway is probably to have, 2 driveways that are too close to comply with the regulations that you talked about at one of the earlier meetings tonight, and also just from a safety perspective, if you've got people coming out of driveways that are too close together at the same time, there's potential for conflicting turns. So I think, from a practical engineering perspective, this makes a lot of sense as well.
If I can just add to Alex, it's not so much that we couldn't get driveways that wouldn't meet, it's more of the steepness and safety.
Yeah, you can see the
Yeah, and
slope.
you just, opposed to this, they come out, this is the existing, it's already there, you got good sidelines. It just kind of makes sense when you're trying to work with the topography instead of fighting.
I'm not gonna touch the board because I know it's kind of about it. So what currently exists is this curve here.
Correct.
So we just have to do this section here, right?
Correct.
And as we can see on the contour map, I can see 344, 346, 344, 342. So we're talking 4 feet, maybe then here 338, so 4 to 6 feet to manage rather than, obviously this over here is really, 350, 340, I mean, you're talking a much steeper, more complex thing.
So,
And you get the.
And that's that weird concrete thing that's there.
yeah, is that, well, again, it was so steep, that's a retaining wall.
Is that what that is?
That's
Yeah.
to keep it balanced, so.
You're gonna make a monument out of it, right?
Not necessarily, no, not necessarily.
But thank you. Yeah, it's a,
And the effect that would have on the site design is if we brought the driveway in at this point
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
we'd have to bring the first floor elevation of the house up. So it would be sitting up on a mound in order to manage the grades of the driveway going towards it. And somebody made a comment earlier about a south-facing driveway. This is the opposite. It would be north-facing. So it would be subject to icing. It's manageable, but when you have a steep slope, you deal with it by making your roadway longer.
Right.
So shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so that represents the steepest driveway.
Mhm.
And whoever developed this in the first point said, well, I want to build a grade back here, I want to get up to the road, but so I need to extend that driveway. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
And additionally, from your earlier point of snow maintenance, now this kind of driveway is far more, conducive to snow removal. You can push it to the left and the right, you can push it all in and off. You got play, if you get a straight shot, you gotta get a little more, it can happen, but this is just a better way, to do it. The snow removal becomes just an easier way to manage it.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask at this point, when we get to, it's an A&R, you're gonna do it, but please include in the O&M snow storage. Condo associations do their own thing, you don't tell them what to do.
No problem.
Thanks.
No problem.
May I?
Yes, please, of course.
And just to get a sense of, general sense, I know, this is not official for right now, but just a general sense of what the future owners might have to consider for maintenance. So there's the common driveway. Do you anticipate that there are going to be any stormwater features that they need to maintain? Or what about the sewer? Is it going to be E1s that they have to maintain or something, or gravity fed to something? Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to be needed to be maintained aside, in addition to the common driveway?
If you want.
Sure, yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because I wanted to make one last point, is the inclusion of this property helped us with the sewer unexpectedly. It was serendipitous that it happened, but you may recall all of this drains to the back. There's a pump station that was going to come out the road and then come up through Washington Street. So working with Mark Wetzel, he suggested, and we agreed, that we should drain these 4 units by gravity down to a manhole in the cul-de-sac, and then bring the force main up along the property line. And what that avoids is, normally we would have had to have cut from here, where the cursor is, to a gravity manhole up here. And now it's just a real short connection to it. So it's unusual that things work out that well, but.
And as long as you provide the easement for the utility underneath this condominium association, you should be fine.
That's when you see the clearing lines?
Yeah.
So,
And there is no stormwater here to deal with, or any, there's no retention, there's no features that have to be maintained, right?
No, the only additional impervious surface that we're creating is this. These will be managed the same way as they are in Panther Place with I believe we had initially proposed drip edges, and the building commissioner preferred dry wells. So the roof runoff, the clean roof runoff, goes into the ground.
Right, just go right to the ground.
And so really, all of the ground runoff is going in that direction anyway. So the only really modest increase is that pavement section right there.
Right.
Because this is all existing pavement.
Right.
And that's an existing home. So I suppose if we put in the dry wells for the 2 units on the right, then we're actually decreasing the amount of runoff. But it's all very small numbers. It's well within the capacity of the basin located in that area.
Right, so the point I'm driving at is that it looks like that even with the common driveway, the maintenance burden on the owners would be, regarding the condo association, the homeowner association, is pretty minimal. That's my general point.
Yes.
It will be,
Yes.
because there's no pump stage, everything's gravity, there's no individual pumps, everything's minimal.
And the condo association, you have two separate condo associations underneath the homeowner?
As I understand it, in my crash course legal, is that because they're individual lots,
Right.
each
Got it.
have to stand alone.
Yeah, so
And then
master insurance per property,
Yeah, and
common
then there'll be-
landscaping, common HOA type
Yeah,
fee,
so then
things
the
like
other
that.
ones
Yep.
will be,
Okay.
subservient to the HOA.
Yep, okay, thank you.
And on that, will they be self-managed?
It will be at one point, but since I will be around for a long time while I'm finishing the back, what I've always done is I just keep managing it until I'm completely
Till you're out.
done, because it's just easier.
Right.
I do it, and then I also kind of set up which area should be expecting, this is, we're gonna mow it, and stuff like that. And the other thing too, which I think is worth mentioning, is I have no problem with them, but I haven't done them, is that these are also 2-car garage units, which I really like for duplexes personally, because then people got stuff, so stuff can go in the garage, and then when it comes to your snow plowing and the other stuff, cars have places to go. So everything's kind of, nice and clean, you know, things don't, people got stuff, so by having two-car garage.
Oh,
stuff
for
can go-
each unit,
Each
two-car
unit has
garage.
two-car garage.
So we're talking 8 in total.
Yeah, so now you have plenty of parking
Right.
behind for guests, so stuff doesn't start spilling, because people got stuff.
And condominium documents can require cars to be put away.
Yep, at night, that kind of stuff. And you'll have more room in the
And
garage
door-
because you won't need a snowball.
And garage doors closed, so there's all kinds of things, so.
But each duplex that will have a condo association is self-managed.
Mhm.
Together, they will have a separate HOA, not connected with Panther.
They will, no, totally separate from
Yeah,
that.
totally separate from
Yeah.
that they manage collectively,
Yeah, amongst themselves.
long-term, once
Yeah.
you're gone.
And that's gonna handle the snow removal, landscaping, and whatever
Yeah.
insurance is needed to cover the property.
So, a follow-up, which I don't know, I'll just put it out there. What is the potential of, you mentioned inclusion, this being inclusionary affordable housing? Is that at all in the cards?
No.
The way Mass General laws and our bylaws read, not enough units. 1 in 5 is the base hurdle. This is 4.
You need five years to start it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the multifamily section of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
But thank you for asking. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Further questions?
Yeah, I got a few things. So just to point out, I'll stick with the driveway for a second, and then I've got some other stuff, but basically, Joe, you're gonna be demoing from about this point over, because there's a huge amount of pavement around that unit right now. So in essence, what we see here is gonna be new from around this point to the units themselves.
In all practicality, all that pavement's gonna come out.
You take it up.
It's all gonna be brand new.
Right.
Nothing's gonna stay.
Yeah,
So-
can't imagine.
We do have, and sticking with the driveway for a second, we do have a section, you know, on common driveways and some standards in our subdivision regulations, which I think you heard me talk about at the board. I did attend the Board of Appeals meeting, and I looked at the tape. So I'm really concerned that we can actually support the common driveway, but maybe we can. But I guess I would be, you know, in favor of the common driveway if we put in our decision or some kind of a condition, if it's possible, I don't even know if we can condition it, that it at least be constructed in accordance with our common driveway subdivision regulation, or our subdivision regulations for common driveways, so if you want to label it. But I do have a few other technical things. So, last week we went to the Board of Appeals, and they voted to approve the special permit, which is what we're talking about for a use change. So the special permit decision has not yet been typed up, and it won't be typed up for, let's say, a couple more weeks. At that point, it gets signed, and then there's a 20-day appeal period. I don't know if we're capable of endorsing this now for any more than a 12,000 square foot requirement under our typical A&R plans, and has nothing to do with the duplexes. And your drawing, I think, has a note on it about the 24,000. So this is where I'm betwixt and between whether we can endorse that plan now before you have actually received the final decision from the Board of Appeals, signed off and went through the appeal period. So I'm apprehensive about signing that plan now.
Well, I think I can answer that question.
Okay?
Because
You-
the A&R.
I thought that might be up to Alex, but go ahead.
Alex will jump in if I'm 100% wrong. But the A&R plan is just the dimensions. So we're just trying to get the lots approved, that they do comply, just like 101 and 102. So that's just a dimensional approval.
He's got a note on the plan, I'll show it to you in a second, that indicates that it complies with the 24,000 square foot requirement.
But that's, so I
It
could.
doesn't at this point in time.
But I could, no, but I could have these be 24,000 square feet, and I could still do a single family.
That's right.
So I'm just, it's just.
It's just an error on the drawing.
Oh, yeah, but it's just like if these were 40,000 square feet, they're just A&R lots that have the right frontage and they exceed the minimum
I
area.
think what he has to do is take that note off. It says, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the zoning district right now, as it exists right now, and if we were to sign off, it's in A2, as you might notice.
Yeah.
But it says acreage requirement, setback requirement is 24,000, but the actual requirement is only 12. So that may only be a technical thing that you could change. So the drawing itself may have a deficiency on it, is all I'm saying. Because it doesn't, that is not the setback requirement right now, it's only a 12,000 square foot requirement. I don't know. So I still haven't got an answer as to whether we think we can sign off on an A&R prior to the special permit being granted, the lot that says it's allowable at 24,000 square feet. That's where I'm stuck. If we, you know,
Larry, is there an issue with just taking the note off the plan?
Say that again, Alex?
Is there an issue with just taking the note off the plan?
Just erase it?
just change it. Change it to the 12, because that's basically what all it is. It's just a requirement, you really don't even need it on the plan.
I think that's what Attorney Parr is saying, is remove the note from the plan.
Right.
Too much is, the detail's too much at this point.
What if, here's another option, just,
Go ahead, please.
can we let this sit till the period where it doesn't take much to handle an A&R? We already understand the context, we've had the presentation. Can we just vote on, just endorse and sign it in 24 days?
So that would be my thought, but I don't think they're gonna like that.
I don't know how much it matters. when we,
So, yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to get it to the point, what I'm trying to do is make sure it all ties together correctly.
I appreciate that. I mean, I still need the other one, so I don't really have an appreciable problem with it. Just by, I deal in realities, and realities is I'm still waiting for the other thing.
Yeah.
I just submitted a demolition permit, it's gonna take a few weeks, so I gotta like,
and
I try to keep my bid favors to a minimum. So, yeah,
And one of the things, and the reason we're sitting here doing this is because we appreciate that, and we also appreciate we're probably gonna be pretty jammed up the next couple of months
Yeah.
with a big project coming our way. And not that we don't like you guys, and we haven't been very amenable to the recommendations and suggestions of the board. We appreciate that. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. The question I have legally, and I'm not gonna ask Attorney Parr this, is if we do endorse this and for some reason your ZBA goes in the wrong direction for you guys,
Well,
I
it's already
don't,
been approved.
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be appeal process and stuff like that. Okay. Should something happen to the approval, our endorsement does not necessarily, it doesn't become an argument on your behalf against the problem you may have with the zoning board of appeals. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
We're separate entities and we can't.
No, we don't want
So-
to pitch at one another, yeah.
I don't think anything will come from, I don't know, I'm not aware of any, but I'm not an attorney who's tried cases along these lines. So I don't have a lot of, I share your understanding, but I don't share your concern,
Okay.
honestly, because
I thought it would
we
be.
correct the plans, we make, if I think about logistically, what happens, we come to an agreement on this, and should we say yes, and should we endorse this, the plans need to be corrected. They have a 3-week waiting period right now for zoning board of appeals. We're all queued up and ready to go when the ZBA process takes place. I don't think we're actually rushing gates at
I'm
this
good with
point.
that. I just
Okay?
thought it would be to our benefit
Just
to
want to
bring it
talk
all
it all
together
out,
at
yeah.
the same time. With clear documents, all hitting at the same time.
And finally, the common driveway approval requires a special, I'm sorry, that's number 2. So I just want to throw the last piece in. Okay, we've discussed number 2, the endorsement of 128 A&R. Taking a straw poll, I think we're in good shape with the information about that right now. And the last thing, and we can take a motion if you want to make that motion now.
You ready?
Yeah.
Everyone's ready?
Or, so the endorsement of the A&R, the A&R for 128 Washington, redrawn. I'm gonna redrawing the line to include Z in this part of the parcel, and it's now a parcel with bisected.
Yeah.
Z has been subsumed by this property, and it's being bisected. Okay. with the square footage of 24,000 roughly per parcel.
So it's gotta be redrawn, why not? It's a 24-day appeal period for
20.
ZBA? 20 day?
After it's signed.
It's 14 days to write the decision and to get signed.
We do have a little technical problem because of constructive approval. So we would need the applicant's agreement that if it goes beyond the 21-day constructive approval, we'd have to get a letter from them that says, we can't endorse it, it doesn't get constructively approval.
Yes.
And that was a week ago?
Well, they just turned it in Thursday, so it's
It
21
was
days.
ZBA rule a week ago.
Right.
Yeah.
They won't get that
Yeah.
for
So we're
30
down-
days from now.
We're down to 2 weeks. So it's
The
gonna be
A and
before
R
our
clock
next
is
meeting.
yesterday, actually.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So by our next meeting, we could also just quickly vote on this.
We might just be on 21 days.
We're beyond the
next
21
meeting.
days at
Just
the
like-
next meeting. You'd have to get approval from the applicant to extend to the next meeting.
Okay.
But that should be.
So are you asking us to vote now pending the revision of the plans?
Yes. We've done this in the
If
past.
I could just be clear on what you're asking is, but if we delay signing it, we don't necessarily need to revise the plans? Or are we still talking about changing that one provision?
We would appreciate that you change the provision in the plans,
Okay.
and I think I am willing to endorse the A and R, assuming you're gonna change the plans. We've worked well together to this point. And you are still in a holding pattern for ZBA. And you understand you don't get constructive approval should something happen because of the way the dates are lining up, okay? We'd appreciate a communication from you about that. But basically, wrapping this up as much as we can right now, so that when the plans are, when the plans are correct and ready, we can sign them and get them to you.
That's fine. And
Okay.
that, is this, I don't think this is something that we have to do at another meeting.
No,
Everybody agrees.
we will have to sign it
Yeah,
as
I
approved.
understand.
You guys, bringing you back to another meeting is kind of what I'm trying to avoid doing.
So,
Our last meeting was standing room only in here for the other project. I expect that to be each meeting we do going
yeah, I
forward.
usually try to avoid those kind of meetings.
Yeah.
Me too.
Given what's going on in the world right now, I'm trying to avoid them too, but it's difficult. So,
That's fine. I have a, you need some communication from
Get it
us.
off the table
Yeah.
and see if there's-
and I'm sure the communication will be very easy to write. So, I am asking for a motion
Yes, I'd like to.
for number 2 to approve, Nathan, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, just for clarity, you're asking for an endorsement, and then we're going to sign, and the signatures are going to take place after the
You're gonna
ZBA.
endorse the plan.
Yeah.
We're not signing it.
Right.
We're gonna sign it after the revisions made on that, and
Yes.
at that point, the ZBA decision will be recorded in XYZ.
So we're not expected to sign it until after the ZBA.
This-
appeal period has expired.
We are, exactly. We are going to sign the A and R for the upper lots.
Yes, yes.
But not for the lower lots because of a technical
Yes.
question we have. Okay, and we're gonna receive a communication saying that they will not pursue constructive approval based on, we know what the future's gonna hold. But I kinda wanna keep this moving, because otherwise we do this again.
Yeah.
So, yes, we can have a motion to that.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we endorse the A&R lots 103 and 104 referencing the parcels map 13 lot 14, map 13 lot 15, as articulated in the presentation from the applicant, Beals Associates with Northeast Site Development dated August 24th, 2021.
And seconded, thank you very much. Any further discussion on this?
Yes.
Mr. King, first?
We mentioned that there is a special permit needed for the common driveway.
We're not
This is our
discussing-
next issue.
Next
Okay. Thank you. Right now, we're redrawing the lines.
Yes.
We will then take care of the
Yes, I
driveway.
just make
Thank
sure
you
that was
for-
not included
thank
in
you.
this.
Mr. Beals, do you need to show, I thought you mentioned that the potential of an easement coming through. Do you intend to show that easement on these A&R plans?
The sewer.
At some point, we will when it's designed and signed off by the DPW.
No, but did you want to show the easement on those?
On this plan?
When you revise the
Sure.
plan, don't you want to show the easement?
If we have it, yeah, we can do that.
I don't know, that's up to Joe.
Yeah.
You can always go back to the easement on later.
Yeah.
For Nate, I don't think it matters one way or another, but
Okay.
the board obviously, not really. But,
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Number one, common driveway approval.
And so I want to make sure I'm absolutely certain. The objection was that the acreage is listed as 24,000 square feet.
Right, the zoning district A2.
Right, so
Which is
so we should make the zoning to A2, we should, under acreage, it should be the minimum acreage required in that zone.
Right.
Okay.
If you'd like to, or I think the
Then we
recommendation
put this-
of removing the note would be,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, and removing the note might also be acceptable.
Just removing it?
Altogether.
Boy, that's easy. So if I just strike out acreage?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a letter saying that you're not expecting, that you will not claim constructive approval based on the crazy calendars of ZBA and planning board. Okay?
That seems important to you, understandably.
You know what it is? It's
Yeah.
just, we have it, we put it in the files, we go forward, it's not a problem in the future. I see something happening to you guys in the process more than us,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So, Alex, can you write that letter?
I'm in the middle of doing it right now.
Somehow I had a feeling my inbox was going to go ping.
Yeah,
Thank you.
up it just came in.
And so the last issue we have, moving backwards, is number one, and this is, Mr. King, what you were talking about.
Do you want me to take these?
We are the granting
Yeah,
authority. Go ahead. I've written all over your piece of paper, I'm sorry.
So I'll just take this and we'll.
Yeah. I have the small ones that I took.
Okay, so the last issue, and I'm going to read it out loud, so we're all kind of clear on it. Common driveway approval for 128 Washington Street. The Board of Appeals yesterday granted a special permit for the project. We will submit to the planning board a plan with the common driveway details and expect to be able to do so in the next couple of days. Do we have that plan?
With details?
Yeah, so this was Mr. Parr's,
Yeah.
I mean,
So I think what that is referring to is this plan.
got it.
It has the grading and drainage for the common.
Thank you.
No, it's this plan. That's the grading for the common driveway.
Okay. Do we have any questions, or do you want to make a particular presentation on this item?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we have jurisdiction on it, on the common driveway for A&Rs? Can we approve, I mean, is this in our authority to approve?
Yeah, I'm just
this?
wondering where this falls in as far as, is it regulation, doing a public hearing, is it public, like, I just want to make sure we're doing everything procedurally correct.
I did a
And I
little,
have no idea.
I did a little work on this, and we have, under all the regulations in town, if you look at them, are the ones that apply to the planning board, it indicates that we can grant permits for common driveways in our open space and residential development concept. Then we have standards for construction of driveways under the subdivision regulations. But it never really gets into the exact details of, who's on first with granting common driveways. But it seems to me that there's no other board that would be authorized to talk about this unless it fell to the building commissioner. And it just doesn't seem that it's not specifically stated that it's in our purview, it's not stated that it's not in our purview, so it's the way I interpret it anyway, for what it's worth. I think this is the logical place to talk about it,
Yeah.
because we typically think about these kinds of things, and we typically understand.
Yeah.
And
if we-
my 2 cents, excuse me, Jeff, forgive me if I'm overstepping.
No, go
what
ahead,
is it?
please.
But wouldn't it make sense to clarify that with town council before we start discussing it, to ensure we're not stepping on anything that we're gonna get rediscussing and re-advertising? I'm just questioning.
So here's where we stand. We currently have one project going on in town under the OSRD that actually has common driveways. So we were the granting authority
Correct.
for,
Special permit.
for the special
Special
work for
permits.
common driveways for Shaker Mill Pond. So I don't actually think we're overstepping.
We did it
I know, but if we're
for-
doing,
And we
if
did
we're
it
doing
for-
a public,
yeah,
if
we
we're
did it
doing
for
a
here.
special permit, then
But
that's gonna go.
I was saying, we got
public.
one under construction at this point.
Yeah, but I
So-
mean, we gotta go through a whole 2-week advertising you put a notification to the whole 9 on that, which is a process and a half.
There's nothing in the A&R, history of A&Rs, other than the fact, the case law that they talked about, and the illusory frontage and all that, illusory. But it doesn't really say anything other than that. So it doesn't really say that if you have a common driveway that makes sense, it doesn't say you can't grant it, is what I'm getting at. So pretty much, it doesn't say you can or can't. It's kind of, pretty much talks about the fact of not granting common driveways, which make no sense, and you can't get from the frontage. Typical standard is if you can get from the frontage of the lot to the buildable portion of the lot, pointed out by Mr. Beals, and we all know, that's the acceptable standard for a driveway to the buildable portion of the lot. Typically, I think, Jonathan talked about this with me offline one time. If we can see a situation where we believe that a common driveway is a better alternative, for instance, it doesn't cut down as many trees, it decreases pavement, there are a number of standards that you can look at that say this makes more sense because it creates an improvement. I believe the planning board has the authority to say that's okay. That's my own personal opinion.
I'm going to take a moment to talk. So in general terms, the master plan talks about how we improve, how we work with zoning in the town to improve many, many things. Ken just touched on a lot of them. The other question I often ask myself is, who's burdened by this decision? It doesn't seem to me that there's anybody who would be adversely burdened by this decision.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, across the street is the entrance to the school. I think removing a curb cut makes sense in this situation. And that would be my argument for it. I do believe the planning board does, under its purview, is the quote-unquote granting authority for this. The question about
I just want to figure out how we would
notification.
write a decision on it if there's no section of a bylaw. Would you say, oh, we just looked at it, okay, sounds good? Like, that's why, I'm just looking at it, how the heck do I write a decision?
And it was pushed, it was handed to us by another board who may or may not be clear that they were the granting authority.
So
They
were given some counsel before.
And I'm not privy to what happened there. Mark?
Yeah, I was going to mention this, there are many standards, but the way I read this, it applies to subdivisions per se.
Right.
So whether they be OSRD or standard subdivisions, all these criteria apply to that. So in my planning opinion, I would think that as long as they adhere to what we would apply to a subdivision, then I think we could, to be safe, make a motion that we approve the common driveway for these A&R.
And I understand that, but we're making a motion on what grounds?
I'm gonna ask Mark to think about it this way, and through Mr. Chairman. If we could write this up so that the planning board, according to these findings, that we determined, according to these findings, we determined that this was a good answer.
A reasonable.
Good reasonable answer.
Good
Finding
faith.
number 1 was this, finding number 2, and typical of a decision, then I think we would have something that would stand
So
out.
you're just basically making a finding, you're not making
Yes.
a motion on
Making
certain
a
sections,
finding.
like just
Making
making a motion on
findings.
findings.
Yep.
Okay.
So we would create the findings and agree that we all concur and based on what Mark's research. So a decision may have to be drafted by the planner, I think.
Yeah, I
I would
could do
think that'd be a
that.
good idea. I would give-
I'm not ready to do that in 2
I know,
minutes,
I understand that,
but I could do that.
does that make sense is what I'm asking?
Yes, it does. Yep.
So-
I'm asking everybody the same
It
question.
does.
And I guess the question I'm going to ask is, everybody sitting at the table comfortable that this is an acceptable solution to this issue, Mr. Krantz?
Yeah, I just want to say, I went in with some skepticism about a common driveway for 4 units. But as we look at the plan and we see that this totally makes sense to me, that it leverages something that already exists. It adds a minimum of more impermeable material. And it also reduces the amount of grading that needs to be done and reduces a curb cut, which is especially important on Washington Street opposite the high school. Given all those things, it seems to me that the common driveway is a very sensible approach, especially given that Mr. Levine has articulated that such careful consideration has gone into constructing the condominium association, the homeowners association. I feel confident that it's a reasonable approach.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Any further?
I'll add-
Go ahead, Nathan.
I concur. I'm in favor of the common driveway for all those reasons. My concern is the purview, the responsibility. This is not a special permit, right? We don't have a hearing, we don't notice, so this is not like 14 Washington, where we were talking about the number of driveways, number of parking spots, right?
Right.
We had to have a special permit. So yeah, I would not be comfortable. I mean, we're not asking we're not being given a permit request and asked to approve it because there's no grounds.
Yeah.
So this, this finding is an opinion, right? It's kind of, it has the same, maybe it has the same legal teeth as the master plan. And so I don't know what the applicant is going to, if they're going to have something concrete, or they just have an opinion by one of the boards in town that they have the permission to do this. I don't want to come back again, but I think that's where my
As you say that, what's running through my mind, not as an argument, but as a thought is, we deal with a fair amount of pre-existing non-conforming. We've got a pre-existing non-conforming situation on this, where another board has looked at it and said, hey, this is a great idea. We will grant you permission to do this to this piece of property. We've got this, call it an orphan problem. And no one really knows who owns the orphan problem, but we've been asked to take action on it. So quite honestly, I think through findings on this, we can take care of it and help tie it in a bow.
Well, I'll add one thing is we do get comments on occasion that that we do need to be looking at properties that are on Main Street and closer into town, and so this is exactly the type of development that I think many people in the town, many people on the board are interested in, and I really appreciate taking one property and putting 4 residences on it. I think that's a benefit.
I concur.
Okay.
I guess, is Mr. Archibald comfortable in addressing the findings and in those findings, making sure we include that it be constructed in accordance to the subdivision regulations that discuss common driveways?
Yep.
And then, I don't know, I think we can do anything more than that. I mean, who else is in town going to come up with the answer other than us?
Thank you. We got farther than I thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
So does anyone know what the appropriate language for the motion should be? Does anyone have any suggestions for you that we make a motion that we find that the common driveway is an acceptable approach to these 2 lots? Is that as simple as that?
Right, with findings as prepared by the town planner.
Oh, yes, it could.
Findings to be prepared with the town
Because I'm
planner.
going to be writing the findings.
Okay.
And I'm sure there may be some back and forth between you and the attorney, but
Possibly, but
He
it'll
likes
be
to touch
very,
everything.
it'll be very simple,
That never happens.
straightforward.
you can't see me winking, Attorney Barr, but Joe saw it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please, Mr. Diskin.
So I have a recommendation for consideration. Since we took this up under
Old business.
old business, no, we didn't take this up under old business, this is new
Yeah.
business.
I'm sorry, yes.
Since we took it up at this point in the meeting, I'd recommend that we have the findings typed up, that we can look at them, and then we put it on the agenda for the next meeting, that we vote on the common driveway approval at the next meeting, on the agenda. That way we have the finding in front of us, we can double check that the language is correct, and then we concur and have a chance to look at it. And then
Could it be done early in the agenda? Is that possible?
From our perspective,
Oh,
it
yes,
makes tremendous sense.
it could be placed right up
Then
front.
it's done clean
That's done.
Yeah.
on the agenda deal.
And that's actually going to dovetail very closely with the ZBA's time period too. So we won't be holding you.
I really appreciate this and the discussion, so it's just really fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mark, if we can help on, if you want us to take a look at a draft.
Yeah,
or-
I'll draft them and I'll send them to
Great.
you and Alex.
Great.
And, yep.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? No, we took care of that.
We have to approve the meeting minutes.
Next we have, I want to say thank you very
I'm
much.
taking this away with me.
Excuse me, before we,
Please go, please, Attorney Quara.
mentioned to Mark earlier today that I didn't have a copy of the stormwater management permit and the site plan approval for the subdivision. I guess those decisions were prepared and should be signed tonight, is that correct?
Yeah, I have them here to be signed after the meeting's over. I didn't have Jeff the last meeting to sign them when he was here, and since he signed the original one, I wanted him to sign the minor correction.
All right, terrific, thank you very much. And then, just so I'm clear, on the subdivision plan, once the DPW has cleared it, that can be endorsed without a further meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
Great. All right, I want to say thank you very, very much to the board for taking us, so quickly on these issues, and we really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm actually going to ask that we take a pause in our agenda. Let's sign stuff now.
Okay.
Because does the applicant have to walk out with a signed copy of the Mylar?
It's up to him if he wants it now or wants to do it tomorrow.
Let's do it. The first Mylar. Let's not bring them back.
Standing here.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Thank you all very much.
We're gonna just take a few minutes. and sign some stuff.
Yeah. See, I was all like beating myself up.
All of them, right?
Yes, please.
I love that. I know Mark Bobrowski pretty well. and That's just
All right, well, good luck and let it work out.
I'm signing the right things, right?
Sure.
Where's Heather? I'm signing the right things, Heather?
They took away the wrong.
One and two, yeah.
Sign your name. It's easy on that one, then.
You could gradually work on soil science?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no.
Hope that one day maybe
Jonathan,
Oh, sure. I really think it's in the
Sure.
about that.
I want to talk Jared on that.
Yeah, I'm really interested.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
I just read a book called Communing with Microbes, and the whole thesis is, gardens build your soil.
Yeah.
Build your soil, and everything else takes care of itself. Really, gardeners focus on, focus on the soil, it needs to be there, the conditions are right. You don't have to dump pesticides or herbicides, because the natural system will balance. So I'm very curious about that, especially curious on so many different soil types, even this little town. I'm always amazed by how you can go from sand, to clay, to rock, and all over. Exactly. It's really made quite an interesting landscape.
Yeah. And the more you know about it, the more sense it makes. I did graduate work in soils, and my first job after graduate school, I was working for an engineering firm, and mostly I did purchase. And it's pretty, what, I must have dug 2,000.
Mostly because it's worth it.
And just you dig up and
listen to
it's an invaluable experience. And what I found was helpful was being able to correlate the landscape to the soil. So that when I
It worked.
on a geologic landform, I knew what I was digging up.
What is today's date?
It's 24.
I'm going to let you write the date.
Often I walk in the woods and astonished in some major areas that you'll have
I have one more.
groves of oak trees growing on what? I mean, it's
Did you say August?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
I think a new decade's great.
I don't know, I'm not looking.
Every decade's been better.
I'm not looking forward to 24 next year.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
So it's in a different condition.
I'm like, I have one good new one.
Punch
I was like, 39, and the other month, I'm like,
Within a few.
Found friends. I sat there like, look, I know, I'm amazing. What is this one? Straight up.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Again, I really appreciate the board.
You too.
I asked for a moment off while we signed. I said, we're just going to take a moment while we sign. Thank you very much.
Everything was wasn't there something else we had to sign?
No, I have stuff that Jeff is
I'll sign later.
No, it's not
Sure,
for me.
there's nothing to sign.
Can
What about the
people-
first A&R? Didn't we have to sign
You
that?
just did that.
We just did.
Oh, that was that. Oh.
We did not,
But what about, but we're not doing, we're not signing the subdivision yet.
No.
Okay, I got it. All right, I'm good.
I was absent, I have to sign some
Okay,
papers.
okay,
Yes.
I got it. I was
Okay.
confused.
It's okay, it's
You want a
getting,
motion for the minutes?
I would appreciate a motion for the minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 10th, 2021.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded to approve the meeting minutes of August 10th. Any further discussion?
Just one tiny change that I
Yeah.
think I pointed out to Heather, so you can change it right
Copy
here.
and pasting when no chairs here, just to focus
It
on
happens.
dangerous thing.
It happens. The advent, you know what the definition of a computer is? Lots of errors at a very high rate of speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Especially when you have a lot going on.
Yeah. Did you, are you?
Yeah, I'll make the
Oh, okay,
correction.
great. All in favor?
Aye.
The chair will abstain because he wasn't here.
I did want to bring something up on
Yes.
new and old business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, no.
No, we've done new business also, but we moved on. Go ahead, Mr. King.
And it's just a question, as we see some properties with dead ends and new developments, that, and starting to look through the master plan here, I think there is something in here about streets and roads and transportation as well. And this question, it's not really, I mean, I'll talk mostly to Mark. To what extent, what is the mechanism to plan roads and streets and throughways in the town? And I'll bring up an example that we recently had, which was Mountain Ave. When you look at the property that, the applicant there wanted to split a property, but there wasn't frontage, and had the road continued on through, then this would have been a done deal for them. So, just throwing it out there, the question, how do we, is there a mechanism, is it a town planner, a city planner usually lays out the streets for a city, right? I'm not saying this is all on Mark's shoulders, but as we consider developments, we're just going to get hit with dead-end streets and cul-de-sacs if we don't somehow encourage some of the roads to be connected in our town. So I just want to put that as a question.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
It's an outstanding question. And it's something I've been wondering for a few years now. I mean, in the old days, New York City, Manhattan, the Astors drew up a plan. It's got a grid. But we don't do that. We just, private property owners come to us. We have a subdivision process and that's it. But there are instances, we have one before us now, with where we have a road and it's really a dead end and it's complicated.
I'm going to ask us not to discuss a project without the public in the room. So this just.
So I just want to, I don't want to discuss the project, I just want to discuss as an issue, is there ever, I don't know if this is what you're trying to get at, Nathan, is there ever appropriate point in time where we go, we need a road here, or we need to extend a road, or connect the roads? So do we have that authority, do we have?
There is, I mean, we could, a lot of that would have to be done in conjunction with the DPW. Because of the cost, the engineering, all this, but if we see a situation where we think that makes sense, we could discuss it with them.
Okay.
There's not really, you know, if we were laying out a new town or, you know, out west where they have unincorporated areas that become incorporated into a city, that sort of street laying out happens. But in the east, that's been mostly developed, it's more of the subdivision process, which is haphazard and results in dead-end roads. But not to say that where we don't see a reason to connect, we shouldn't encourage that.
So, and the history of development in this area is, I have a piece of property, I want to get its highest value, highest and best economic value, and people don't want to live on busy streets, so we build cul-de-sacs, okay? Or it butts up against an area of environmental concern, or towards an undesirable area to live, an industrial area, or in this case, Fort Devens might be there. You don't want to live too close to it. So they build a cul-de-sac. And that was the route that developers took for a long, long time. It's less expensive to build one road than to build a road that goes all the way through. The history of the OSRD, we want as much open space as possible. So we will allow a single road access, which is not really a shared driveway, but not necessarily a town road, okay? Roads are laid out through the interest of private development and neighborhoods being built by investors. It would be wonderful if we could rearrange the houses and rearrange the lots, and that's something we can't do at this point.
No, but that's,
Yeah, but there are instances, and it's not what happened to the road, but Nashua Street Extension, which Mr. Diskin just spoke about. We have a, this is a for instance. They wanted to put houses past what existed on Nashua Street. Nashua Street is a gorgeous Ayer tree-lined street. Doesn't have sidewalks. Our bylaw requires sidewalks. What do you do to the people who live there, who have been living with a large oak or a maple in their front yard for 70 years? Does the town exercise the right of way, have the developer take down what's there, the street trees, which we fight for with the developer, remove the street trees and put in a sidewalk? And that became an issue to talk about. The impact on the people who currently live there was deemed to be too great. So the developer was given a waiver on the requirement to build a sidewalk. And that's what happened there. It's not a street that goes all the way through like you're asking about, but in that one instance, it was considered by the planning board at the time to be a huge burden on the residents in the neighborhood. Not the developer, but the residents, to remove a portion of their front yards.
You know, I hear what you're saying. I just want to remind us, though, that once we accept those streets, they're not private streets anymore. Those are public streets. They're for all of us. They're not just for the people who live there. They're for everyone.
This is, yes.
I just want the reality. And that's, I think we have to think about that. You know, it isn't, you know, we build the subdivision, when it's finished, it's not a private enclave, it's town, it's part of Ayer.
If and when it's accepted. We still have streets in town that are not accepted by the developers have built for different reasons. And I'm gonna muddy the waters
I got another one too.
muddy the waters a little bit more for you. The town of Ayer has streets that are laid out and maintained by the town that are still considered private ways. If you want to do a little bit of research, look up on private ways. Because it's often an interesting thing to see a butter to a private way all of a sudden realizes that the road that they've been using, that the town maintains for safety, and I mean for safety, if an ambulance can't get there, we got a problem. Doesn't belong to the town. It wasn't constructed to town standards. The town will go in and put utilities underneath it, but they're not required to pave it. So, and at some point the road becomes deteriorates to the point where it needs to be repaired, and all of a sudden you've got whole neighborhoods who want to give the road away. So it's a really interesting conversation to have about roads. I do agree that roads that go nowhere are unwanted, but we also have a situation where we got here through the decisions we made, and the impact upon people to change it is huge.
Right, so if I may interpret that or restate it, there's an onus on the planning board and the town, together with the town planner and the DPW, to get it right the first time.
Mm-hmm. And then, excuse me, and then Pingree, neighborhoods out on the eastern edge of town that have been laid out with large acre lots that have sidewalks. And guess what's in the middle of the sidewalk?
2 sidewalks.
The mailbox.
Exactly.
Every 100 feet, there's a granite post with a metal box on top of it. So even the best laid plans.
Mhm.
Yeah, but no, it's a really good question. And I'm just gonna make one more comment, then I'll stop. And this is Jeff Tillotson talking for Jeff Tillotson, okay? When we look at a street and the safety of a street, we are not the sole granting authority. It is the public safety professionals in town who do play a very vital role in it.
Mhm.
So that makes it murkier too.
I think Nathan's has a good track going here, and I'd like to think that we could set aside an agenda item to talk about this, but somewhere in the future, not right now. But the second part of the story is I did spend some time similar to this, but with a different intent. And that was to determine towns that were town right-of-ways, but haven't been finished, same concept you have, but that potentially could become walking trails, okay?
Exactly.
Some of these are considered by people to be private ways,
But they're not.
but they may not be. So there's a whole avenue out there on the same topic as you've got, whether we would finish the road or whether we would just provide public use of the road through a walking trail system or some connectivity.
Yeah.
And there's a large amount of those in town
That's right.
that exist like that.
These kind of orphan road things.
They were put there as right-of-ways,
Yeah, right.
they're on the town plans,
Yep.
they're not taxed or anything. They're-
You're
they're-
speaking to Jeff, the citizens'
Road.
heart with these non-vehicular.
Pine Meadow Drive goes right across one of my pieces of property.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist, it's a paper, we call it paper street.
Paper roads are the most
So
annoying.
the exercise really is complicated because you have to take
When I
out the
live-
ones that are wrong, fix the ones that are right,
Yeah.
and so on. So anyway,
I'll just do one, I just want to close on safety, I'll make my last comment on safety, which, and I would appreciate, an agenda item, about this, because I think it is important as we build out and we get interested in the master plan. On safety, where I live, there's 2 egresses, ingresses, an ambulance can get to me, fire truck can get to me 2 different ways. 3 ways when the town does some work in the future. I think that's important, and these, and so as you said, Jeff, it is a group effort, and I think not only town planner and DPW, but fire and police. What is a response time to the home? How do we factor that in?
So we live in a town that's bisected by train tracks. I come from a town that's bisected. There are 2 crossings for train tracks. And as the opposite happened, we had to move the fire station. It was too small, it was too antiquated, it was like the one on Washington Street. Could no longer service the town. So where do you put it? And that becomes an exercise in looking at what are arterials, what are secondaries, how do we get it there? And the train tracks throw a huge wrench into it.
Huge.
So it's almost on a case-by-case basis. I have a feeling this is going to be something we're going to be discussing going forward. I don't think we're going to come up with something that makes everybody happy, unfortunately. But again, I am very, very I don't want to discuss anything that's, from an educational standpoint, I want to talk about it, but I want to make sure that we maintain as transparent a process as possible going forward. Hence, I sent you the document, that document that was submitted to Mark's office from residents, and that has been also printed out and shared with residents in that community.
Right. My interest in bringing the topic up of streets is to find out what is the mechanism such that we aren't solely beholden to a developer or an applicant saying, I just, in my purview, I only want a dead end area because I want to maximize my money in this space. You know, where can we exercise planning so we do it the correct way?
That's my question too.
I think all this stuff is really, really good to bring it up, and it shows the planning board is thinking ahead and trying to be progressive, and I'm all for that. So I appreciate you guys bringing it in.
I agree. We are given typically more control in a situation where it's a condominium, where it's single unit development, because we can work with public safety to say you really need to be able, and we're going to find impediments to it. Nature is going to be in the way, railroads are going to be in the way, things like that. So it's a great question. Anything else? I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say thank you to Mark for the blast email. It was one fun
Oh.
and two helpful. I haven't been able to go through it all yet, but I appreciate
That's
you
right,
sending
that's-
content and information that I can also learn from.
We could start that up in the fall too,
Yes.
for the spring, is thinking about blasting regulations.
Oh, I had a comment on that too, if you don't mind, on the blasting.
Yep.
At the last meeting, when we talked a little bit about this, I said I was reaching out to a couple of contractors to try to get some more information. And I did get a call back from Steve, who owns New England Drilling, who's a very reputable company. And it turns out what my concern was regarding the fact that we have regulations in place through the fire department for blasting. But we do not have any regulations for the rest of the process. So I was interested in talking to him about that, since he works in all kinds of towns. And it turns out nobody has regulations for hammering. They only have regulations for blasting. I thought there might be a town that had some
You would
regulation
think.
in place.
Especially
Right.
in New
So
England.
we could then use
Yeah.
that as a model.
And
So if in
You would
fact.
think.
Let's be a model, please.
No,
So this guy is in the business. So the long and short of it is, what he explained to me, and was very appreciative of the time that he spent, was yes, many of the projects go the same way as 48 over there, not the one we're looking at. They start out with an intent, they're not that great in the field, and they end up blasting in the end.
Exactly.
So, and as the chemicals, there are many other processes that are involved, might be very expensive, and because of that, they stick with the hammering, typically. So I think it's just a general thought. What I found out was, there don't seem to be any regulations for hammering in other towns. And I don't know how we, as a board, could attempt to regulate that through a decision. I guess that's my thought.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because having been involved in hammering and blasting in a couple of different projects, typically the request from public safety is hammer first, blast second. In other words,
Yeah,
get to the point where you can't do it,
right.
and then we'll consider it.
Precedents of
Right.
driving this.
Yep.
And that's kind of the way it works. Whether that's correct or not, I don't know, but that seems to be. Also, our public safety people follow not just Mass General Law. In the fire department, I've forgotten the name of
NFPA.
the NFPA documents. NFPA is a living document that fire chief and public safety officers live by, and it supersedes. If there's something in the NFPA that might be more safe or better for a community, the community, our bylaws and stuff may actually lag behind it. And the fire chief will say, no, NFPA standards are this, this, and this, and that's what I choose to use. So National Fire Protection Association, NFPA. And it's a trade group, if you will, that's hugely beneficial to us all. So sometimes you'll be talking to somebody in the public safety side of the fire department, and they're talking about something that you can't find anywhere in our bylaws.
Yeah. And that's where the turning radius and the fire truck movements,
all that
we
stuff
get all
comes from.
that from them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Response times,
Yep.
equipment that towns need to own a certain amount of equipment because they have certain buildings and certain layouts. So it's just there's a huge wealth of information in the NFPA, so. We've done the minutes, we've exhausted the agenda. Wow, we drove them all out of the room, got so boring. I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Barry.